what was happening is they were saying to my dad that they were going to put one in me because I rolled around strapped. No matter where I went, I was strapped. If we went out to the club, I was going out to the strip clubs when I was on the run and everything, bro. And it was a dumb idea, obviously. If I'd go down to the road to get KFC, I'd have a gun on me. Everywhere I went, had a gun on me, right? So at the point of time, they said that my dad goes, the first time dad to me goes, "Turn yourself in because they're going to shoot you." Got pinched at KFC out of all places, bro. Now, when I say I got pinched there, I didn't get pinched by just any coppers, bro. It was a setup. So when I rocked up, I just woken up. My mate gave me a call for a meeting. He said, "Meet me down here." Went down to meet him. And as I walk in there, I sat down. As I sat down, CERT rolled in. And CERT don't just hang out. They get given missions to go get certain people.
Yeah.
And they're there just for me.
Yeah.
And they knew it was me. And I had fake IDs, fake everything. When they got me, they said, "Slide your gun on the ground," slid the gun on the ground, give it to them. They said, "What's your name?" I kept running with my fake name, which was on my ID. I had a fake ID in that, which saved me in the past. It got me away from some D's. And they knew who I was, man. So yeah, it was a relief to finally actually get into the back of that paddy wagon.
Legends, what is up? Welcome to another episode of the INTOCHANGE Podcast. And today I've got a real special one for you. I'm joined by Chayse Green, who for the first time is going to share his story publicly, and I'm honoured to be able to do that with him. We talk about crime, jail, being on the run, and drugs, as well as how he has now used fitness and his unstoppable mindset to turn his life around to become not only a positive role model for himself, his son, but also for the people around him. He started his own fitness brand known as No FOMO Fit and is now inspiring so many other people to become better versions of themselves. So, if you need that one little bit of hope that change is always possible, this is the episode you do not want to miss. I'll see you guys over there in a second. Chayse, welcome to the INTOCHANGE Podcast, brother. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me, brother. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah,
glad to be here.
Thank you, bro. Now, the reason I reached out to you is because I guess we met each other probably 5-6 years ago.
When was the time we met properly?
It was at Des Harrison's funeral,
It was,
right?
yes, okay. It was.
So
Yep.
a good friend of ours had just passed away. We were both there. I know who you were. I'm sure you had an idea of who I was at the time as well.
At the time, no.
Okay,
Yep.
cool. Even better.
Yep.
Sweet. So I'd heard a bit about you, man. And then from there, I started to notice you're doing some really cool things with the fitness industry, and now onto owning your own fitness brand and inspiring so many other people to do what you've done, which is turn your life around.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Even the chat we had before, man, before we jumped on the mic, just a chat before, like, you got me motivated about myself, but about the chats we had, bro. Like, it's pretty cool to be where I'm at now. And obviously, there's history behind me in a dark past, but there's light here at the end of the tunnel, and we're here, and things are good now. Things are good.
That's it, brother. Now, can we go a little bit further into your journey? So take it back to, I guess, when you started getting tied up with the wrong people and started committing crime, that sort of stuff.
Well, to be honest, man, it's way back when I was like everything kicked off when I was like about 15, 16. And it obviously started off very small. So when I was like 15, 16, it was petty stuff, you know what I mean? Like getting into fights and going out and just like being with the boys and getting into trouble. It started off there, like just minor stuff. That's what I call minor anyway. You know
As it does for a lot of young men, yeah?
Yeah. And obviously when you're young, you get in a bit of mischief. Depending on the crew you hang around, like they can help, stimulate that process. So yeah, people that I used to hang around, and I still am mates with to this day. In the early days, they're still good mates of mine, but we definitely egged each other on and pushed each other to do more bad stuff as we got older. But yeah, start off at about 16. Small things like, for example, getting caught with first arrest was like getting caught with a knife. Right. Walking through the streets of Labrador, drinking underage, obviously, being really young. I think I was about 15 or 16 and rolling around. And one of my mates, won't mention any names, one of my mates goes, it's a dodgy area, right? We grew up in Labrador. I feel safe there. But he goes, "Look, take this just in case anything happens." Yeah. And me and another guy took off. We went to go get some drinks and cruise through the hood, whatever. And he gave me a blade, and we're cruising through. And we'd literally been gone for like, 5-10 minutes, cruising out near the Grand. And then, boom, coppers pull us up. And I'm like, "Yeah, man." And I was like, "Oh, great. I've just been handed this. I got it on me." And at that age, my street mentality wasn't as high as what it was towards the end of my criminal career.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wasn't as switched on. I think I had the blade in my bum bag or pocket or something like that. Got pulled up. They thought we were breaking into houses and stuff because it had been happening in the area. Wasn't the case. We're just cruising around, and then they said, "Empty your stuff." Emptied my stuff, and bang. That was my first arrest. And to make things worse, on the blade, it had "Die Bitch" written on it. And I didn't know that beforehand. I didn't know that beforehand.
Oh,
the person that gave me that will be listening to this anyway, and they'll be having a giggle about it. Yeah.
No,
So that was the first arrest. That was like, 15, 16. And that was super minor. And then things, as we got older, I started hanging around different crews.
Yeah.
And we can go into detail on this sort of stuff too, but things got a lot deeper, a lot more hectic, drugs involved. Yeah, things got crazy. But I was down for it.
Yeah.
I was keen. I wanted to go, whatever I do, I want to go all the way with it. So when it came to being a criminal or hanging around bad people, I wanted to be hanging around the baddest and doing the most hectic thing, because that's what I was into. I was always reaching for the stars, even in a bad world, in a bad profession. Obviously, being a criminal, I was reaching for the stars, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
So where do you think that comes from for yourself, where you found yourself, whether it was around criminals or whether it was around, I guess, the right people? Where was it that you sort of had that mentality where you're like, okay, I'm going all the fucking way?
The mentality has always been there through my whole life, but I used to just look up to bad people. Like, I used to think, like, and when I say bad, I don't mean people that do bad shit to good people for no reason. That's not bad. That's not what we'd like to call a gangster or whatever. I don't call that gangster. I think bad people are the ones that are like at the top of the food chain doing the biggest moves, right?
Yeah.
That's how I see bad. So don't get it twisted. When I say bad, I'm not hanging around scum of the earth. And I have in the past. Yeah, we both have. Oh, there it goes. That's just how it goes. You know what I mean? You do end up, when you start getting into the harder drugs, you start hanging around people you wouldn't normally hang around.
Right.
Yeah. So what was the actual question, bro? I was just sidetracked hard.
Where did the mentality for you come from?
Oh, the mentality. Just all through my life, I've always been, whenever I do something, like we said before, I want to be at the top. I want to, or at least give it everything that I've got. So if I'm going to be hanging around criminals, I'll be hanging around the best or the baddest or whatever you want to call them. Yeah. So, and also growing up too, I didn't have a bad upbringing, bro, but I had two different lifestyles growing up. So my mum and my dad were together when I was born. Soon after I was born, it wasn't my fault. They split up, but they split up and then went separate ways. Yeah, dad was a big money maker, like legitimate money maker, abalone diving, and mum was just a hard worker. She owned her own shops, owned her own houses, like a couple, few investment properties. That was when we lived in Tassie, because we grew up in Tassie, right?
Yeah.
When we moved from Tassie, I didn't see much from my dad. I was more with my mum. So growing up with her, single mum, she was a hustler. She worked hard and shit. So I saw that side of things. I was like, I don't really want to live this lifestyle, when I saw what my dad was living like, you know what I mean? So when my dad came back into my life, I went and hung out with him, and his life, like my mum basically working 40 hours minimum a week, right? Busting her ass, getting paid not a lot. And we're living in the ghetto. And then I'd go live, when my dad came back in the scene, I'd go stay with him. We'd be living in Broadbeach on the water, mansion, you know what I mean? Like when I say mansion, like a mad house, you know what I mean?
Bro.
With boats, cars, like convertibles.
The lifestyle.
The lifestyle, bro.
Yeah, bro.
But his lifestyle also changed too. And I saw this part, and this is what sort of got me attracted to it. I'm not going to put the blame on him, but I saw what he was doing after the abalone stuff. Like he was making 50 grand a day doing that. And that's back in the day, right? Doing the abalone stuff. Then he started getting into a little bit of a hustle and doing his thing as well. Playing up, partying, girls, this and that, marriages, divorces, all the bullshit. But I saw the lifestyle that he had, and it definitely attracted me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I saw, like, for example, I was going to Labrador Primary. That's where I went to for primary school. My mum used to take me there, and that's where I used to go. Then when I was living with my dad, he's like, because I was getting a little bit of trouble around year 7, so he's like, I'm going to put you into a private school. So I went from Labrador Primary to TSS, which is probably the best school in, if not Australia, in Queensland, definitely. So, like, as you can imagine, Labrador Primary, you go there for free. TSS, that's, what is it? The uniform cost you over like $1,500 for a blazer. You know what I mean? So went from that lifestyle to that lifestyle, and it was a big shock. But I saw the way he lived, and when he'd drop me off to school, like he'd jump in his speedboat. He had a 29-foot Scarab and like a big Chevy big block engine in it, and he'd drive me to school smoking a joint and drop me off at the jetty and say, I'll pick you up after school. You know what I mean? And I'll say, what are you doing for the day? He's just out cruising, having fun. You know what I mean? I saw that, and I saw what my mum was doing. Respect for my mum for the hard work she put in, and I love that work ethic because I've got that in me. But also I saw the way he was living life, and I didn't see the hard work he put in before all this shit happened too. You know what I mean? So I just thought that's what all that was from. So I was like, I want that. That was the thing that sort of like G'd me up to go that way. And he also had a crowd around him that was pretty hardcore, you know what I mean? Like he's a straight good dude. Like he does good business. Like back in the day, he was doing good business, like good man, never did anything wrong, wasn't violent, nothing like that. But the crew that he had around him, they knew how to handle themselves, you know what I mean? So, and I saw those guys come around to my house, and I was like, fuck, who are these guys? Like, these guys are sick. Like, they weren't that much older than me either, a lot of them, because my dad, not to mention any names again, but my dad had a good friend, but his sons were hanging around my dad more than the dad was, because they were doing bizzo together, doing a few things, and I saw what they were doing. I was like, fuck, I want to get to know these guys, you know what I mean? And so that's where it started off. And they were a big connection to me, meeting the people that I ended up meeting and where I ended up in life too. So that definitely stemmed from there, bro, to answer your question in a long form.
Yeah. Awesome, brother. Thanks for sharing that, brother.
Yeah, no worries.
Man, so you obviously said you had a bit of a, I guess, dark past.
Yeah, man.
Can you think back to probably the most dicey situation you ever found yourself in, and would you be comfortable to share that? Hey, hello. Sorry for interrupting your podcast, but I just wanted to quickly jump on and tell you about the must-have personal development tool for 2023, and it's called the Happier, Healthier You Journal. So I'll take you back to about 6 years ago. I'd just gotten out of jail for the last time and was starting my journey of personal development and growth. There was heaps of gurus, heaps of information available, but so much so that it became confusing. So I came up with the Happier, Healthier You Journal to help you to navigate what can be an absolute minefield. From the very get-go, you open the page and it'll challenge you to dive deep with self-assessments, daily activities, and check-ins to figure out exactly where you're at, where you'd like to be. And then from there, the journal becomes the tool to help you to bridge that gap. So to get your hands on this, click on the link below and don't forget to use INTOCHANGE10 at checkout for a cheeky 10% off. I'll see you back over on the episode.
The most dicey situation, there's definitely a few. So we can rattle off a couple.
Let's go a couple then.
Yeah, so like one time nearly overdosing on fantasy. So for people that don't know what that is, it's pretty much the shit you use to clean off the barnacles off the bottom of boats. Yeah, like it's a chemical that's like drinking a litre of vodka in a couple of meals. Yeah. Now I OD'd on that twice. You think you learned a lesson the first time?
I've done that, bro.
You've done that too?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
And it's fucking scary, right? You did it once, twice?
Just once, bro, yeah.
So as you can probably relate to this, I've seen, and I haven't shared these stories either with a lot of people outside the circle, you know what I mean? So like talking on a podcast and this is new for me. But basically what happened is having a bit of frank, partying with the boys and all that sort of stuff. And then the first time it happened, I was, we've been up all night, and that was pretty standard back in that lifestyle, and had a bit too much, started feeling a bit funny. Now I was embarrassed because I didn't want to die in front of everyone. So I'm like, I'm going to go hide in the bathroom and just try to sweat this out, run this out. If I come back out, I come back out. If I don't want anyone to see this happen. You know what I mean? That was my mindset.
Yep.
So I've gone in there, locked the door. I'm looking in the mirror at myself and I'm going, whoo, and I'm hanging on. My body starts shaking. I start sweat. Like when I say sweating, like times a sauna by 10.
Yeah, right.
Like that's your body trying to reject and get everything out of you. Legs start going weak, eyes start going blurry.
Everything's wobbling.
Bro, everything's gone.
Yeah.
It's like you've just been hit with a good shot, you know what I mean, in the head, like KO. And legs start wobbling and I'm thinking, oh, I'm done here. My like vision was gone, my hearing was gone, and then I started to crumble, and then something in me just like kept fighting, and then I'm just like, my clothes are completely drenched by this stage, and this is all in a matter of like 2 to 3 minutes. Wow. And I just held it together, bro. And the people that I was with that night don't even know that this actually happened. I didn't even say anything, bro. So I was very close. I was pretty much on hands and knees, and then a bit of willpower inside of me come out, and I got back to my feet, man. And I just sort of drank some water, flushed my face. I was white as a ghost, went back out, and just acted as if nothing happened, bro. So that was one side that was,
man, that's heavy.
Pretty dicey, bro. Had it happen again another time.
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt again, but if you're liking what you see so far, don't forget to like and subscribe and share with your friends. Remember, all your support is really appreciated, and I'll see you back over on the episode.
And this sounds so stupid to do it for the second time, bro, but some crazy shit had just gone down. We're in an apartment. I was on the run. We can go into that, detail into that as well. I was on the run, and it happened the second time, and I knew this feeling because it's happened to me already.
Before, yeah.
Yeah, bro. So I knew it was happening. So I did the same thing, acting cool like nothing happened, because some shit went down in that apartment not long before. So we're all raging, things were going on, and I've gone, fuck, I need to go lock myself in the bathroom again. Let's try ride this out, see what happens. This one was a little bit worse. So I got in there, and I'm sitting in there, and I just sat on the toilet. I need to go to the toilet, and then all I remember is just waking up, and I was on the bed, and I'm like, how the fuck did I get here? I'm naked. I'm covered in sweat, obviously. I've been out for I don't even know how long. Yep. And my partner, she was looking after me at the time. And because I was in such a bad situation, like I was on the run for some pretty hectic stuff, I didn't, they couldn't call the ambulance. Like I said, that's a rule. Like it doesn't matter what's going down, you don't call ambulance, you don't call cops. It is what it is, we ride it out. And they didn't know what was going on at the time, but they actually had to boot the door down to get me out of there. So that's another dicey situation. That's obviously drug related. Other times like being in like high speed chases, being this close to death, being involved in some pretty big moments where like it could have gone either way.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of dicey times. We could go real deep. There's a lot of dicey times that happen, and but those ones really stand out for me because I really felt like that could have been it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I've nearly died multiple times. You know what I mean? Even younger as a kid, been hit by a couple of cars, gone under trailers and stuff like that with forward drives connected to them. Been hit again in a hit and run, like heaps of times like that. But then that was all young accidental shit from other people's. All this stuff now was all my fault because I was in control of my own life at this point.
In that situation, right?
Yeah, 100%, bro. 100%. Yeah. So that's just a couple, just to name a couple. But man, I'm sure as this podcast rolls on, we can come up with some more stories.
Some more shit will come out.
Yeah,
right?
like I told you, my memory's pretty bad from back in the day, but things will spring to memory, especially if I can relate to some of your stories, bro. I'll remember a lot, you know.
I mean, I heard you say that you were on the run, so I actually experienced that as well. That's actually the reason I moved to the Gold Coast, and this is probably something I haven't actually shared with anyone on a podcast or anything.
Beautiful. Let's go. You heard it first here.
Man, I got pinched with about 2 ounces of ice. For anyone that knows what that is,
methamphetamine.
It's a fair amount of meth. Yeah.
Yep.
Elbowed the copper, took off. I was on parole. I was living up in Birkdale in Brisbane, right?
Yeah.
Now I was dodging the cops. I had parole, blowing my phone up. I came down here, moved down here, and I was on the run for about a year and a little bit, right? So. Yep. As you know, for someone that's been on the run, you're ducking and weaving, you're fucking trying not to get seen, you're throwing off bodgy names, you're doing whatever you can. I remember there was a few times there where I got in high speeds. Not even high speed, just have the cops flash their lights, right? I've got no license as it is for 11 years, right?
Yeah.
Plus I'm on the run, so I had to jump seats.
Did you say 11 years no license?
Yeah, so I lost it when I was 16 for driving without a second person in the car because I moved out of home when I was young.
Yeah.
And then I kept getting caught driving. So it was a total.
I was going to say 11 years is a steep bloody penalty.
Yeah, that's 100% a steep one. But it was just repetitive shit, right?
Yep, that's enough.
And they're like, fuck you, man, you're going to jail for that shit. Yeah.
Yep.
But so for me, there was a heap of times where I actually had to jump seats with people when I was driving.
Switch up drivers.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, 100% shit like that. Getting in high speeds as well.
So what, you were in the passenger and had to go to driver or driver to passenger?
Okay,
so you don't get hit up.
So I was driving the car. I had to jump into the passenger.
I thought you had to jump in the driver and just take off. You know what I mean?
No. But there was plenty of times where I hit the legs. So you said you've been in a few high speeds as well, man.
I've been in 9.
9.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
But I've never been caught for any.
Okay, cool. So it was alleged anyways.
Yeah, it's allegedly, apparently. Yeah.
So just to share what that's like, so being in a high-speed chase, the adrenaline, the feeling, what is it exactly like, bro?
Can go two ways.
Yeah, man.
It can either eat you up and you can crumble, or you enjoy it. And because let's be honest, all of those high-speed chases, I'm pretty sure nearly all of them, I was under the influence, intoxicated on drugs or alcohol. When I say drugs, alcohol, I wasn't even a big drinker, to be honest, bro. It would have been drugs at the time. 100%. Yeah, so like a few of them, like for example, like there's a few cases. So 9 in total, but to mention like a couple, like in those high speed chases, it got pretty dicey to the point. Like some of them I weren't, like the 9 I got away with allegedly. I was driving, but then there were other ones on top of that when I was in the passenger seat, and they were the scariest ones because I'm not in control,
right? Yeah.
So for me personally, man, those were probably the scariest ones. I was on the run for a year as well. But when I was on the run, my attitude towards being on the run was, all right, well, if this sounds crazy too. My thing was I always wanted to go to jail. Sounds crazy, I know, but it's part of being when you hang around criminals and older criminals, they're all talking about jail and you're sitting back going, fuck, I want to experience what this is like. All these stories they're telling me, this and that, la da 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 da. Yeah. So all that sort of stuff, like one of my goals was to get in there and just see what it was all about, you know what I mean? So I was on the run for a year and I knew I was going to jail, but I wanted to go out with a bang. You know what I mean? Like I thought I'm already going, and the charges I was already up for, I was looking at it quite a long time. So I thought, we might as well just chuck it on the tab, you know what I mean? That's my thoughts at that time.
I know exactly what that's like, bro.
Yeah, bro.
You're like, let's rack them up.
Just rack them up. We're already done anyway. They already know who I am. And when I was on the run, because of my background and my past, because obviously the people I used to hang around with, like when I was younger, I grew up hanging around like bikies at a young age, 18 years on, and through my whole life, you know what I mean? I've still got good mates that are in that today, but I don't have any part of it because back when I was younger, I wanted to be involved in all that, but my mind changed as I got older and grew. Where was I going with that story?
Being in the high speeds.
Oh, being the high speeds, that's right. I keep getting taken off the other side. The high speeds, man, the scariest one I was ever in was we were allegedly strapped and all that sort of stuff, and we've been testing out some new weaponry and that, and then someone tried to pull us over, and one of my guys that was driving, he's been in plenty of high-speed chases. He was a career criminal, you know what I mean? Like, not to mention any names once again, and a lot of people know this guy as well, but he'd been in plenty of high-speed chases, but he also knew how to really wreck himself when he'd get on it. You know what I mean? He would take it to the next level than what we all would, if you know what I'm saying. If you know what I'm saying. So that one there was probably one of the scariest ones I've been in, like where the lights go off, we're on the wrong side of the road, where we're out in the middle of nowhere. And if we get caught, what we've got in the car is going to
put you away for a long time.
A long time. And what we're doing just before this kicked off is even worse. So yeah, that one there was probably the scariest, but old mate that was driving can drive, and he wasn't in the worst way I've ever seen him. So we got away with that one, bro. And the people that were in the car with me, the guys that were in the car with me are all very well known to police, and a lot of them are doing time now for attempted murder and things like that. They're all still doing time now. So the people I were with, they were the older crew that I looked up to. So we just sat down, shut up, and held on and got out of that situation. You know what I mean? But that was probably one of the diciest ones, man. It got really close. I've been in a worse one than that though, like as in to say like longer period of time, like time frame.
Longer chase,
bro. This is the longest chase I've ever been with, man. This is at the end of my run. I ended up cruising up north just to get away from the coast because shit was getting hectic, bro. I had Task Force Hydra chasing me, which is a bikie task force.
Yeah, bro.
I had Special Emergency Response Team, CERT. So basically they're like, just imagine like Australia's equivalent to like the SWAT team coming in and get you, bro. They come in and they don't muck around.
They don't fuck around whatsoever, nah.
And to be honest with you, I used to roll around strapped everywhere I'd go due to paranoia, due to being, you know, trying to be a gangster and that. Everywhere I'd go, I'd be strapped. So I knew that things were getting dicey there, so I decided to go up north. Now, we went up north. I went up there with a mate of mine that was also on the run for an attempted murder. So she was pretty hectic, and it was a female, believe it or not. I'm not going to mention any names, but people that know me will be able to guess who this is. But yeah, we're on the run up there, and we got a high-speed chase when we were on the way back. And it was hectic, bro. The truck, because I had a scanner everywhere I went, so a cop scanner. I'll be listening into whatever was going on. When we got into the chase, I said, turn the scanner on. She flicks the scanner on, we're listening. And the truckies are now chipping in with the coppers. We're on a highway, and they're chipping in and telling where we're turning, what we're doing. So I was like, we got to get off this main road. And we're in the middle of bumfuck, man. Like, it's like country towns and shit like that. So I turn off, not knowing where I was turning to because I'm not familiar with the area.
Yeah, bro.
And this highway was just like 2 lanes all the way. I can't remember what the highway's called. Someone will be able to pick it up. But all the way from up north, we'll come back from... where
Bruce Highway?
What's that?
Was it the Bruce Highway?
It might have been the Bruce Highway, bro. I'm not good with the roads and that. But we turned off. And when we took this turn off, bro, I turned down this street and it's a dead end area. Like, it's a little community. There's schools and shit there. I'm like thinking this is the worst place I could have gone. So I've slowed down a little bit coming through there because like kids' school crossings and shit, you don't mess with that. It doesn't matter how much of a bad dude you think you are. You got to pay respect to the females and children. Yeah. So I slowed down through there. Once we got through there, I realized there's no way out. All right. So I'm thinking, what am I going to do here, bro? What am I going to do? So instead of like giving up, because that's not my thing, I wasn't ready to give up. I drive into someone's backyard, into their, and obviously they're living on acreage, and I've got someone in the car that's on the run for attempted murder. I'm also on the run for a lot of charges as well. Yeah, so I decided just to bust down fences. Just I'm in an Audi Q5 Turbo, and it's brand new, and I'm running straight through every fence, bro.
Well, it was brand new anyway.
It was, it was brand new. It wasn't after that. They got the chopper involved, and we had to get like a tarp put over the thing. We nearly got bogged a few times. This went for a couple of hours, bro. So if you can imagine a high-speed chase for a couple of hours, obviously a lot of it we weren't on the road for. We were just going through paddocks. The only reason I knew how to find my way out is by the iPad, chuck it on the GPS. Obviously there's no roads on there, but I could follow what angle I had to take to get back onto the highway.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was probably the longest, but the other one was definitely scarier because I wasn't in control. Yeah. So that's another answer answered in long, but yeah, there's been a few hairy situations, bro.
So yeah, definitely sounds like you've had a bit of a, background before what you're doing now, right?
Yeah, bro.
So what was the big turning point for you around all this stuff when it came to, I guess, turning from a criminal to being a positive influence to the people around you?
So anyone that knows me, even back in those days, knows that I was always positive, bro. I've always been positive, always been happy. So I really just lost myself, bro, through taking drugs and doing the wrong things.
Yeah, man.
And just lost myself. So the turning point for me, and the best thing, and it sounds like the weirdest thing, the second best thing that ever happened to me, I should say, because my son is my first. The second best thing was going to jail. Dead set, the second best thing.
I can connect with that, bro.
Yep. That's where I got my head straight. I figured out who was who my real friends were. And listen, man, I used to roll deep with crews, like, you know what I mean, like big numbers. And the amount of people that actually reached out and tried to help me and like check in on me when I was in there, bro, I can count them on one hand. Yeah. That's the honest truth, bro. That really cared. There were some people that will clout chase and want to chat to you on the phone and that, that sort of shit. But anyone that actually gave a fuck, there was probably a handful of people.
Yeah, people that are writing letters, people that are coming to see you, all that sort of shit, bro. Yeah.
And you know how hard it is, and this sounds like a terrible excuse to how hard it is. This is what some people would say as well, but to write a letter when you're, like what you're doing now, if you had people that are in jail you're still trying to communicate with, sitting down, finding time to write a letter, takes time, bro. Phone calls are easy. So when letters used to come through in the mail, bro, it used to make my day.
Yeah. That's the only thing you really got in there, bro, is it?
Yep.
Yourself and the letters that come through from the people that love you.
That is the best time ever, bro. That's Christmas every time. And I see a lot of people in there that would like...
They hang around the fishbowl.
Bro, everyone.
Bro, yeah.
Everyone would hang around.
Any mail for me today, Chief?
Like, oi, Chase, you got mail again. Yeah. And then some of the other boys wouldn't get any mail, you know what I mean? Because they come from different upbringings, different families. So it was quite sad, but bro, mail time for me was everything. But yeah, the turning point for me, man, was 100% going to jail, getting my head clear, finding out, because all these people I was supporting on the outside, bro, because I had a crew that a lot of them were dependent, you know what I mean, on me because I was the guy. So I would help them all out. So I found out when I was in there, I'm not expecting money, man, I'm expecting your time. Send me your number, send me a letter, just one. And I'll remember that forever. I'll never forget that. But it didn't happen, bro. So that was a turning point for me. Jail was definitely the turning point.
Man, it's crazy. Just like you said there, like, you wanted people's time. And it's funny. If you ask someone for $1,000, no doubt they'll probably give it to you if it's a good friend of yours. But you ask them for 1,000 hours, what are the odds that they'll actually give you that?
The dollars are going to come quicker than the hours. That's for sure.
Yeah, crazy, hey?
That's when you find out who your real mates are. And it's sad that it has to come to that. But I always think this to myself, anyone that's bad, or when I say bad, doing the wrong thing, I feel like everyone that's going down that track needs to do a bit of jail. And some people need longer than others. If I did 3 months, it wouldn't have been enough.
Oh, God, no.
If I did 6 months, wouldn't have been enough. I had to do a minimum of a year to be able to understand, because I would have just recovered, got healthy again, gone out and just reoffended. So I needed to lose a substantial period of time. I did a year in there, and I know I've got mates that have done a brick and all that sort of stuff. And we used to think that was cool back in the day. Like, of course, he's done a brick, bro. He's a bad dude.
Yeah. I look at that. For people that don't know, what is a brick?
10 years.
10 years,
yeah, bro. So for me personally, like, I thought that was cool back in the day, and a lot of people did. For now, to me, bro, you just lost so much time.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, so used to look up to a lot of people like that, man. But for me, it took a year, and then that's when and look, I could have come out maybe a little bit earlier and figured it out, but after watching what I put my mum through, that was the tough part, bro. So she'll come visit, she'll be breaking down in visits and that, and I'll be like, fuck. It's not, like I was thinking about because as you know, when you're on drugs and that, the world revolves around you, right?
Yeah, bro.
Like for some reason you think, if I go to jail, this all stops. Yeah. No one's going to be able to move forward without me, this and that, or if I die or this happens, bro, you're such a tripper. Yeah. Bro, as you know, we've had so many people around us die, like best mates, close family, like other mates and stuff as well. I get quite upset when I think about it, but I watch what everyone does after they're gone. And like some people that don't show up to the funeral, some people that don't even say anything about it. Yeah. And then others that just move on straight away. But that is life, and you just got to come to terms and accept that, I guess. But everyone handles shit differently. But yeah, it's crazy, bro. Crazy.
I think it's very similar. Like when someone dies or when you go to jail, right? When someone dies, people deal with it all in their own way, right? Yep. When you go to jail, the world keeps turning. Everything goes on around you. But for you, nothing changes.
Nothing.
Everything gets put on pause.
Yep. I remember you saying that because I was listening to your podcast last night, bro. And I remember you saying that, man. And I was, and I was like, that is so true, bro. Like when you come back out, it even feels like you've gone backwards because everyone's gone forwards. And the position you're in, say for me, I did a year. When I got out, I felt like I was 2 years behind.
It's confusing,
because they've gone a year forward and I've stayed the same. So it's like I have lost 2 years, you know what I mean? Yeah. Of evolution. Yeah. So yeah, it's nuts, man. So yeah, everything does pause and go to a standstill. So, but yeah, to answer that question, man, it was jail and getting sober and then realizing, and my friends, because I'd do anything for my friends. Yeah. And even those ones that I thought were my friends, I would have done anything for them anyway. Yeah, right. But after figuring out who was who, that was the turning point for me, bro. So that was a blessing. Yeah. An absolute blessing.
I couldn't agree with you more, bro. And I think that's why we're very similar with our stories, man, because it was exactly the same for me, bro. If I hadn't have gone to jail, I'd probably still be swinging off the end of a meth pipe thinking I was a mad cunt.
Definitely, bro. And how sad is that of an existence?
Yes, bro. Yeah.
And 100%. You might even know some people to this day that are still doing the same thing.
Of course.
And I've still got love for some of the people that are still doing it, you know what I mean? I don't hang with them, but I got love for them because the things they did for me, even when they're in those compromised positions where your head's not straight, they were always loyal. There's a lot of them that were actually always loyal. When I say a lot of them, I shouldn't say a lot. There was a few that I still respect till this day because even when you're that fucked up and you haven't slept in whatever 3, 5, 7 days, however long it is, they never broke the code. You know what I mean?
Shit code or anything like that.
Yeah, so I've got extra respect for those guys. Don't hang out with them because we can't. You know what I mean? We just have two different lifestyles and we've got nothing to connect with anymore.
Yeah.
That thing that we all connected with was drugs, and when you haven't got that in your life, you don't really have a bond anymore. You know what I mean? So that's gone. So yeah.
For me, the reason I actually turned to drugs was for external validation because I felt like I didn't belong. Was it for you? What was the reason that you felt you turned to drugs?
Man, for me personally, see, I never had any issue like needing external validation from anyone. Everywhere I go, bro, I can pretty much fit in just about anywhere. Yeah. Not trying to big note or say anything like that, but I can literally fit in with any sort of crowd. I'm pretty good. Yeah. But I've got people I prefer to hang out with, obviously, that I connect with. Yeah. Because there's more meaning and substance behind it, and I can be myself. But for me personally, man, this sounds crazy too, but I like to push my body and see what I can do with it and see how far I can go, whether it's good or bad. So for example, we would all have competitions so you could stay awake the longest. You know what I mean? I'm sure you might have probably done the same thing. And bro, and this is, I swear on my son's life, I did 7 days straight. Yeah. And that was the only one time I did 7 days straight. Most times would only be like 2, 3, maybe 4 nights.
You only have a couple of hours and you'll be back at it, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right, bro. Just a quick snooze and then back into it. Yeah. But
crack nap.
Yeah, bro. But what we would do would be in apartments and stuff, as you remember back in the day. That's what people would be doing. And I'd be sitting there with my sonnies on, just trying to get a little bit of a shut eye where no one was watching. But if we'd catch someone, we'd give them a hard time for sleeping, bro. It was like, you're a loser if you sleep. Yeah. Bro, how bad?
Put me on the sleep?
Yep, that's exactly the phrase you used to use, bro. So yeah, you know exactly where I'm coming from with that, bro. Yeah. So yeah, I just like to have fun. And I tell you what, Bro, when you're buzzing, I think you said something in your last podcast too that I related to big time. Just everything feels better when you're high. Yeah. Everything feels better when you're high. And when you're smoking amphetamines or methamphetamines, I was more of an amphetamine guy. So people don't know the difference, like ice and speed, smokable, still both high quality purities and whatever. But the amphetamines for me, because that was more of it wasn't such of a head fuck. Yeah.
Yep. Your body, like, you feel buzzy.
Yep. Wasn't keen on the other stuff, you know what I mean? As much. Done it plenty of times, but wasn't as keen on as much, bro. Yeah. So, yeah, for me personally, man, I just liked feeling alive and testing myself. And I liked just being with the boys and competing with each other and seeing, like, for me, it was just, we were just egging each other on the whole time, bro. Like, who could do this? Who could do that? Who could stay awake the longest? Who could commit this? Who could grab that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So it was sort of like, it started off with a bit of weed, then you move on to some pingers, then you start doing a line or two maybe, eating some speed, and then next minute you're smoking it, bro. And to me, that's the pinnacle of like highs, right? And I think you've said it before as well, the feeling you get from that compared to anything else, you're really honest about it. You said it's fucking amazing. Yeah,
100%. But you spend the rest of your life chasing that feeling if you're in that world. You know what I mean?
100%, bro. And that's a big thing. Chasing that feeling. You could probably think of the first time you got really high if you had like pure.
I can tell you.
Yep, same.
I can tell you, hands down, bro.
Hair stand up on your neck.
Yeah.
You start feeling alive and like you could conquer the world.
Yeah,
and
bro.
For anyone that's going to sit here and criticize what we're saying, we're not glorifying it. I'm just being real with you. That's how it feels.
Yes, bro.
And if you haven't done it, don't judge.
And don't fucking do it.
Yeah, you don't do it.
That's a good point to make. Just stay away from the shit because, well, for me, I think I compare it to the first time I went skydiving, right? So skydiving is my new device. I went and did a tandem skydive jump and the feeling when I landed was I am unstoppable. I can take on the fucking world. So I started solo skydiving and I spent the entire time chasing that same. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about this feeling, bro, because it's just.
And that's a natural high.
Yeah, that's right. So I spend every moment when I'm skydiving trying to chase that same feeling of that first skydive, right?
Yep. And can you ever get that again, the first one?
I don't know, man. Maybe if I jump off a building with a wingsuit.
Something different.
Yeah, something different. Change it up a little bit.
Yeah, but I commend you for jumping outside your comfort zone doing that. You've done a few things that I've looked at and I've gone, yeah, cool, because that's on my list too. Bucket list. Yeah, like jumping in the ring, doing that.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
But I got to ask you a question. Is it when you jump out of the plane? Because you said when you hit the ground. What about when you're standing inside the plane about to jump out? What's that?
Bro, you're sitting inside the plane and the whole way up, you're just like, fuck. And if you talk yourself in, you've talked yourself in. But if you start to talk yourself out up in that plane, then you're all the way out. But next minute, you know, your legs are hanging over the edge of the plane. They say, look up. And literally, I can't even tell you the moment, but they say 3, 2, and they go on 2. Most of the time. And you are falling, but it feels like you're flying. And honestly, it happens so quick. So your free fall's about a minute if you go from 14,000
That
feet.
sounds like a long time.
Well, bro, it's like that, right?
Wow.
And I'll tell you now, from the first couple of skydives I did solo to now, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10 seconds. Whereas when you do it solo and actually start to breathe and be able to enjoy yourself up there.
Did it go slower for you?
1, 2,
Okay, real time.
3, bro. It is unfucking real. And
I saw your near-death experience too.
Man, that one went real quick.
Far
That
out,
was my
bro.
6th jump, yeah. So for anyone that wants to see that, I'll chuck a link up in
Chuck
the
a link in
podcast.
that, bro,
Yeah.
because that's hairy.
Yeah, so I was with that one. It was my 6th AF jump. I was jumping down in Byron Bay. I had a fucking amazing instructor, and honestly, I wouldn't have been where I am today with skydiving if it wasn't for him.
Yep.
It was my fuck up. All right, I went to reach for the hacky or the pud, which is down here. I reached a little bit too high, and I freaked out because I couldn't feel it. So I started swimming in the air. Now, if you imagine that your body's falling on like a ball of air, right? And if you move your body this way, you're going to start shooting this way. If you move your body back that way, you're going to shoot back that way.
Yep.
If you move your arms and your legs, you can catch air, you're going to start tumbling. And I started tumbling, and I think when I went to pull was at about 6,000. So let's call that 5 seconds every 1,000 feet. So I was about 30 seconds from the ground. When I pulled my parachute,
What happened?
I was 7 seconds from the ground. I was 1,700 feet. The lowest pull you ever want to do is about 2,500, 3,000. I freaked the fuck out.
100%.
I freaked the fuck out, bro. I thought it was over. I was waiting for something called my AAD to go off, so your emergency deployment.
And does that just kick the parachute out?
Kicks it in, but your parachute,
What happened?
you have an emergency that goes off, right? But I thought that went off at 2,000 feet, so it goes off at 750 to 1,000, and I was at 1,700, so
you were close to that mark.
I was fucking getting closer and closer, bro. And I literally had the whole world flash through my eyes.
So you had a near-death experience.
It was literally like everyone explains, bro, and it felt like I was falling through time like that.
Had you given up?
Yeah.
You weren't trying to, you just like...
I just let myself fall because I'm like, this emergency's going to go up. And then I'm
So you thought that's it?
it's not going to go up. I had that split second thought that I'm like, it's not going to go off.
So you knew that was always there? You always knew that the backup was going to be there?
Yeah. But like I said, bro, if it goes off, you've got 3 seconds for it to open. And if I'm at, 750, that's about 3 seconds before you hit the ground. It's going to be fucking hard if your AAD goes off, man.
You're still going to get
And
broken
especially
something.
if you're spinning and your parachute opens, bro, fucking good luck actually having that thing open stable.
The worst thing I ever did was watch those YouTube videos of people failing when they're skydiving.
Yeah.
Worst thing could have ever done.
Yeah,
Don't
man.
watch that if you already...
No. I don't watch that shit, bro.
terrible,
I just
bro.
watch my video.
Terrible. Bro, you disappeared in that video.
Bro, the thing that got me through that was literally, I had a split second decision and I was like, fuck, man, if I don't open this parachute, it was Thursday. And at the time I was only seeing my son Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I thought, if I don't open this parachute, I'm not going to get to pick my son up today.
Yeah.
And that was it. I found the fucking thing real quick. It opened, and by some miracle, it opened perfectly. And I landed right on the drop zone where I had to land. My instructor, who chased me for as long as he could, because this is the thing, like, in the video, you see him, he's like, fuck, But if he'd chased me and I had have opened my parachute and it opened on both of us, it would have killed us both. So, he did the right thing in that aspect, because at the end of the day, I do have an AAD.
Yep.
So if anyone watching that video, fucking hold your criticism, because it is a fucking heavy experience.
Yeah.
But he landed off in a paddock, like somewhere else, and I landed somehow magically on the fucking drop zone. So that was a fucking near-death experience, and probably one of the biggest turning points for me.
Are you glad it happened in a sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Number one, I skydive still to this day.
Yeah, I know, which is crazy.
And it keeps me calm in the sky.
Yep.
And number two, because it was like, well, fuck, that was a near-death experience, and the reason I started skydiving, I say, was to face my fear. But if we really go into it, it was through external validation, right? Yeah. I wanted to look cool to people. But there was a big element of it
that is inside of you, like you're scared of shit.
I'm overcoming this fear, right?
Yeah, bro. And I think everyone's scared of skydiving if they haven't done it.
Yeah, not even that. It's scared of heights, you know what I mean? That
heights
was
in general,
my thing.
bro.
I couldn't look off a balcony.
I've done it before and gone,
Yeah.
whoa.
It starts doing these ones, and you're just like, shit.
If I had wings, I'd be cool, but I don't have wings, man. And
Red Bull ain't going to solve that problem.
Yeah, I'm going to sink and I'm going to hit the ground. So I'm not a big fan of heights, but it's something I need to tick off my list. And watching people like yourself doing it, it makes me go, man, I've got to step up.
Yeah.
So it's good. I like that.
Fucking love that, bro. But that was a big thing for me, man. It was like, okay, cool. If it was all my own error.
Yep.
If I don't fuck up, it doesn't fuck up.
Yep.
So it was like, cool. And another thing as well for me that got me over that experience was, if you look up on the board there, bro, that's my goals board, or my dream board, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff on there that's like skydiving over the Maldives, skydiving over Dubai. If I didn't overcome that fear,
Ironman too. Yeah, boy.
Yeah, 100%. If I didn't overcome that fear, I would never get to tick that stuff on my bucket list.
No, bro, you wouldn't even be looking at those other things.
No.
But you got to get past that first step.
That's right.
The thing I like though is how you're doing it solo. I'd prefer to be in control. Obviously, I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to skydiving, but I don't like someone else being in control of my life.
I agree.
That's why that high speed chase I told you about was scary, because I was not in control. With skydiving, They've done it. They're going to do it better than me every day of the week and for the rest of my life, no matter how much I train and do whatever. But I don't like not being in control. Yeah, I'm not a control freak, but when it comes to my life, I need to be in control of that.
Yeah, I'm a control freak when it comes to my life.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, man, you spoke obviously about jail, and I think earlier we spoke about our different experiences with jail. I said to me it wasn't too hard. I wasn't really struggling at all, but I just kept my head down and trained.
Yep.
What was jail for you, and how did it change your life?
Yeah, so as I mentioned to you, man, before, like, I appreciate what you guys said. And for a lot of people, when you go to jail isn't that bad, man. It's really not that bad, but depends on what you're doing in there and who you're involved with.
Right.
And that depends on what you see. So my first time going to jail, sounds crazy again. I'm sitting in the bus, I'm excited. I've just been on the run for a year. I've been raided multiple times, got away, so many different events, near-death experiences, jumping from hotel to hotel.
It was probably almost a bit of a relief when you got caught.
Exactly what it was, bro.
Yeah, bro.
When they got me, and especially because they got me too, out of all places, man, because like what was happening is they were saying to my dad that they were going to put one in me because I rolled around strapped. No matter where I went, I was strapped. If we went out to the club, I was going out to the strip clubs when I was on the run and everything, bro, and it was a dumb idea, obviously. If I'd go down to the road to get KFC, I'd have a gun on me. Everywhere I went, had a gun on me, right? So at the point of time, they said that my dad goes, the first time dad to me goes, "Turn yourself in because they're going to shoot you." And I said, "Oh, fuck, I'm a cool guy." You know what I mean? Whatever, have a crack, thinking I'm crazy and that.
You're fucking worst.
Yeah, exactly. Got pinched at KFC out of all places, bro. Now, when I say I got pinched there, I didn't get pinched by just any coppers, bro. It was a setup. So when I rocked up, I just woken up. My mate gave me a call for a meeting. He said, "Meet me down here." Went down to meet him. And as I walk in there, I sat down. As I sat down, CERT rolled in. And CERT don't just hang out. They get given missions to go get certain people.
Yeah.
And they're there just for me.
Yeah.
And they knew it was me. And I had fake IDs, fake everything. When they got me, they said, "Slide your gun on the ground." Slid the gun on the ground, give it to them. They said, "What's your name?" I kept running with my fake name, which was on my ID. I had a fake ID in that, which saved me in the past. It got me away from some D's. And they knew who I was, man. So yeah, it was a relief to finally actually get into the back of that paddy wagon. So once CERT were done with me, they had me strapped up, put me in the back, and they come out. When they come out, bro, well, they come in. If also lucky, because they come out, guns out. "Don't look at my fucking face. Get on the ground."
Yeah.
I was so lucky to have an audience and cameras there because nothing could go wrong.
Your shit would have got broken otherwise.
Yeah, bro.
Broken legs, broken arms. Yeah.
And if you're strapped, if they have to, I know it's not America, but they can go bang. They can put one in you.
They've got the go ahead to do so. They've got the green
bro.
light.
And they're trained to do so.
Yeah.
So once I got thrown in that paddy wagon, bro, it was a bit of a relief. It was like I still had a lot of things to process because I still had things I had to do on the outside.
Yeah.
But I was just like, oh, fuck. And then when I got into the watch house, I was around some guys that were like coming back from jail and they were old school like crims and I'd heard about them and stuff. So I was mixing in with them and I already had a big network in jail. Like when I got to jail, bro, it was just like going to,
Catch up with the boys.
Catch up with the boys, bro. Like, and when I say the boys, like we had so many boys in jail and it was actually, I went to jail at the best time possible when everyone was in there. Like I was the last man standing sort of thing out of all the bad ones. Few followed suit afterwards. But yeah, it was a relief, man. And then when I'm driving if anyone knows, like, I was in the watch house for 7-8 days.
Oh, isn't that torture?
It is torture. Everyone used to say to me too, like, "Oh, wait till you get to jail, bro. You're going to love it." Like, it sounds weird as well. And I was like, well, if it's better
After being in the watch.
Yeah, bro, it's better than this. You know what I mean? Because if anyone knows what watch house is like, you are brushing if you're lucky enough, you get to brush your teeth with your finger with a bit of toothpaste if they're feeling nice. Otherwise, you're sleeping on, like, you got like the horse blanket. Sometimes they'll give you a cushion to put on your slab of metal or whatever.
Oh, man.
The aircon's pumping 24/7. It's freezing cold in there. I've done many stints in the watch house, but that one there, I knew where I was going, so I was sort of G'd up, sort of happy. It was a relief. Got on the bus finally after 7-8 days, and as I roll in, bro, it hit me, and I see the gates to the jail, and I'm just like, here we go. Like,
shit's about to happen.
Yeah, and I was excited for the experience because I'm finally getting to do what I've heard about for so long from all these big time crims that I've looked up to since at a young age. And here I am about to mix in with the big boys and find out what it's all about.
Yep.
But once again, like going into the part of being in jail, so I jump in, as you know, you go straight to, is it C8 induction unit?
Yeah, C8 in Arthur Gorrie.
Yeah, so jumped into that unit. I already had people in there that I knew. Had some people in there that we had one of my mates had beef with, so I thought it could have kicked off straight away. I didn't have any, to be honest, man, I don't really have any enemies, never really did, but I always took on my mates' enemies, you know what I mean? Because that's what you do by loyalty, and that's the code. So when I got in there, I thought, here we go. And old mate was very comfortable, he'd been there for a long time, so I thought, we're going to be on here. He came and just squashed it straight away, didn't want any dramas. I had another mate in there that I actually, when I was growing up, used to do bricklaying with. He was just a mental dude. He's a nutcase, and he was all right, bro. He just run me down, give me a little bit of a heads up what goes on in that unit, but there was a lot more to learn. So after that, you go from C8, they throw you in W4. Do you get W4?
First timers, yeah.
First timers.
Yeah.
It is a fucking zoo.
Yeah.
Walked in there, bro. It is just a nightmare.
Absolute chaos, eh?
Yeah, bro. Like, it's young people that have never been to jail before, and I'm one of them. But the way everyone's acting, man, it's like a going to preschool or something. So I got in there, but I had boys in there again. Their first time in there, so it was all right. And then straight from there, going from the zoo, the kids unit, I got speed up into the bikie unit, A4. Some of the boys got me into their unit. So that was like Finks back in the day, and then they crossed over. So the boys from there got me over there. They've been mates with me for a long time. So I went from going into to jail, C8, yeah, whatever, a bit of everything. Induction unit, people are just coming and going. Then going to W4, kids unit, kids everywhere, running around, running amok. It's so loud, so noisy. And that. To now, we're in the men's unit.
In the men's unit, yeah.
With the boys, and there's rules, there's this, there's that you don't know when you first go to jail, and you've got to learn real quick, because if you don't follow by those rules, doesn't matter who you are, you're in trouble. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Politics, right?
Politics, bro. And jail is the worst for politics. Jail politics. There's two things that run jail, and that's drugs and politics. I guess you could say a third is obviously if you're a head, if you're a big name. But drugs and politics, man, and I fucking... Yeah, not a fan of that in there at all. Not a fan of that at all. So yeah, my experience in there, because I was in a good crew, connected, whatever, I was sweet, but some of the things I saw other people endure while they're there, I watched heaps of shit happen, bro. Like, I've seen people get bashed within an inch of their life, screws get stabbed, long punch-ons that went for so long. What else?
You just think, how the fuck have they got the endurance to do that?
Yeah, bro. Like, yeah, very impressed.
Yeah.
Actually, one of my mates that actually got into one of those, he's gone now too. He was he died as well.
Sorry to hear.
Very good dude. Yeah, we've all come to terms with that, and unfortunately we've moved forward, but he holds a dear place in my heart. But yeah, watched him, and I was like, fuck, this is where the big boys are. So it was cool, man. It was a complete eye-opener from going from the kiddie, I call it the kiddie unit, no disrespect.
Like you said, the zoo, bro.
Yeah, bro, it's like a zoo. It's just all over the shop. And if people don't know this, listen to the podcast, like, they're all talking to the screws, and it can set bad habits. So when you go to the big boy units, you get crushed.
You're going to get crushed,
and you get put in the boneyard, you know what I mean? So yeah, I was watching all that unfold, and I knew a lot of the stuff before I got in there because of the boys always talking about it. Yeah, because the boys would sit around, get high, and talk about jail, and I'd feel a little bit left out in that sense. So that made me want to go to jail, you know what I mean? Yeah. So they'd tell me the stories. I knew the ins and outs.
It was a bit to fit in, right?
100%, bro.
Yeah,
definitely a bit to fit in. And also watching so many, as I grew up, I used to watch all the jail shows and that. And I always wanted to experience the real thing, whether I visited or put myself in jail. You know what I mean? It sounds like a shitty goal, and it was, but I made it happen. I got there, you know what I mean?
He's a go-getter.
Yeah.
He's a goal-getter, not a goal-setter.
And honestly, it was the best thing I ever did. But yeah, like you said in your podcast, it is easy if you keep your head down. But if you're involved in drugs, you're involved in gangs, you're involved in any sort of shit that takes place in their politics and that, man, you can have a rough run. I watch some people's lives go from good to bad to real ugly real quick, and then they're sent over the other side. Yeah, man. So you can feel the tension in there. You can cut it with a knife. Like, it's a different world, and especially when you're playing with the big boys, it's a dangerous place to be. It keeps you on your toes, and you're living in fight or flight mode a lot of the time. Yeah, man. So yeah, so everyone's experience is different. Mine was pretty sweet. I only got into a couple of blues in there. One of those blues was that they were both because of me. Well, not because of me. They're because of other people, but I chose to get involved in it.
Sort of thing, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, one of them so the person I told you about was on the run with me up north in that high-speed chase. Yep. She was allegedly up for attempted murder. The person that happened to was in there. He had written a statement. So all I know is to follow the code and sort him out. That's a big no-no. Yeah, and I was mates with him before this all happened. Mm-hmm. So I had to follow up and sort him out and send him over the other side. So I did that. Lucky enough with that brawl, it wasn't too bad. He ended up we got taken back up to medical, as you do when you get into a fight. Took me back up to medical, and he was a bit dusted up and very frantic and all over the shop. And he was pointing, going, "He did it, that guy there." And I was just playing. I'm like, "Man, I don't even know you. Who are you talking about?" I know him very well. I knew exactly what happened, and I ended up getting let go on that one. Didn't actually get locked up in the DU, and ended up cruising back to my unit after that. Another one, I got sent a message there was an apparent dog in our unit, and this is when I got caught in the biker unit with a tattoo gun. Someone passed it on to me and I was supposed to pass it on to someone. So I got shipped from the biker unit after being there for most of my time inside. I got shipped to W2, which is next door to W4. So I'm sort of back in that, not a kids unit, but it's right next to people that have, it's not the best unit, bro. It's like just full of like, I had some good mates in there. I actually met one fucking really good guy in there, and I think you need to get him on this podcast, and you know who I'm talking about.
I'd love to, bro, yeah.
Yeah, you know Josh? Yeah, the boxer? Yeah.
Already in talks, bro.
Good. Because, bro, he's someone I look up to a lot, bro. We're on the same level, but I just love what he's doing and how he's changed his life as well. But that story's for him to tell, so I'll leave that for him. Yeah. But when I went down to W2, bro, it was just a different lifestyle down there. It wasn't the same. We didn't have everything around us. We didn't have the luxuries and getting looked after, shoes, this, that, whatever we wanted. So when I got down there, the boys from that unit speared a message, take on this, I won't mention any names again, but he's a guy in there for murder. He's a bad dude, big boy, 6 foot something, Italian. Yes, stabbed some guy to death and that, but apparently was a dog. And I was mates with his co-offender, and the co-offender was mates with all of my mates, and they said, man, you need to fly into him. So I didn't do any dodgy shit. I said to him, I told him how it was. I just said, even though he's a big boy and he can box, I just said to him, and I knew it was going to be a tough fight. I just said to him, listen, man, we're going to have to punch it out. I said, you're a dog. And I said, unless you can prove you're not, we're going to have a crack. So the boys got involved. All the boys in the unit got involved. A lot of them weren't my mates and that. They're like, we'll shut it down for you, Chase. So they go, as you know, you go into the disabled toilet, get some wet toilet paper, chuck it on the camera. Yeah. Then we square up. And now the rule is always get the first hit in. And I know this, but I just was too fair for this fight, bro. So he goes, you ready, Chase? We're about to do this. And he's stretching and getting ready. And I'm like, this man's business, you know what I mean? And I'm like, and he's a lot bigger than me. And he's got a lot more reach and he can box. So I'm like, all right. He takes his shirt off. And instead of rushing him, bro, because jail, there's no rules.
Victory is a victory, bro.
A victory is a victory. And there's you don't get...
no gentleman sport there, bro.
That's exactly what I was about to say. If you're a gentleman, you don't get any brownie points for that shit, bro. I let him take his shirt off and I let him come in and he's got the range. He got the first punch in. No one got dropped. It was toe to toe, just bang, 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 squeaking and stuff with the feet and punching on. And obviously,
you can hear it when it's happening.
Yep. So screws come running. It only lasted, bro, like maybe 30 seconds, man. But yeah, they're the only two. Oh, and then another fight, bro. I got into another one actually on the walkway. So both those fights were obviously for other people, but I obviously took the ball and ran with it. But the next one was we got on the, have you ever done this? Been on the walkway and then they have boneyard movement mixed in with mainstream. So the boneyarders are walking on, but we're outnumbered. There's more boneyarders walking on and anyone doesn't know, boneyard is for people that tell on people. Pedophiles.
It's the worst.
People with money even that go to jail and they get extorted. Yep. So you can be in there for all sorts of reasons, but you don't
High profile cases, shit like that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So with that, it doesn't matter who you are. If you're in that side of the jail, though, you do not talk to them. You fight on sight, whatever you got to do.
Of course. We
were outnumbered here, and there was I can't even remember his name, and I wouldn't mention it if I could, but I can't remember exactly what he was known for, but big dude, big bad dude. But he was a boneyarder, but he used to be in mainstream, but he got shipped over there, he got bashed and sent over, and he was there with like a lot of their crew, and we got into a big punch up there, and I was with a very good fighter at the time, and so we held our own in that one there, and they ended up retreating and bailing back into their unit and throwing like these little cigarette ashtrays, the little steel bins.
This is back when they actually had fucking
cigarettes.
Bro,
when you can smoke in there, still, bro. So for anyone that's listening, my time was back. I went to jail in 2012.
Yeah.
Got out in like 2013. Did exactly a year, 12 months, just a tiny bit over. And it's been 10 years since I've been out. So just give you a rough idea. I didn't get out of jail a week ago or anything. Yeah, that's why I don't talk like I've been in
What's
jail.
happened since then, my friend?
Yeah, so a couple of fights in there. There was no other drama apart from that though, bro. So my time was pretty sweet. But the lifestyle in there, man, one thing I've got to mention is the way that people live in there was probably one of the biggest turnoffs for me because I've always looked after myself in the sense, not when it comes to obviously taking drugs, that's not looking after yourself, but appearance and this and that, and always had some self-respect to a certain extent. Obviously, I've trashed myself with some from partying and stuff like that, but always bounce back, you know what I mean? Because I love a comeback. Yeah. But the way those guys live in there, man, not all of them, but yeah, there's things in there that I won't mention on here, but the way they live and what things they do doesn't interest me at all.
No life, eh?
No life at all, bro. And I don't think I'm better than them, but the way they live and the way they treat themselves, I hold myself at a high regard. So yeah, that was definitely another one for me too, bro.
Cool, man. Thanks for sharing that. That's fucking pretty heavy stuff, right?
Yeah, bro.
Real heavy. Definitely had very different experiences with jail, but I think something that we definitely do share in common is the fact that exercise is probably the one thing that got us through and saved our lives, right?
Yeah, which you chatted about before, bro.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Let's go a little bit into that, hey?
So structure, man. So as you know, even on the outside, if you don't have structure or purpose, you're in a bit of trouble.
Right.
Especially if you've got ADHD, your brain ticks over, you need to stay busy.
Yeah.
You can get busy doing the wrong thing. So
Gotta
if you
have goals, bro.
Got to have goals, man. And I've fallen off the wagon since, like not gotten back on that shit and done all the crazy shit, but I've still slipped, had times where I didn't have purpose and I've slipped.
Yeah.
When I'm changing roles or changing my life and starting a new business or doing whatever, I've slipped, you know what I mean? Never back to that extent ever, but slipped a little bit. I'd like to say slipped anyway. Yeah, but for me, fitness is the one thing that's kept me accountable for me. So before going to jail, I trained every now and then, bro.
Yeah.
Didn't know what I was doing, just like the feeling of a pump.
Yeah.
And had the thought of getting big was good, but partying was
better.
Was better
Yeah.
and easier. Yeah. Training, bro, to be honest, and I don't tell a lot of people this, but I want to make it clear, I used to hate training.
Yeah, bro.
Look at me now, you know what I mean? I used to hate it. So for anyone that's listening that hates training, finds it hard and doesn't understand how people can like it, I was in the exact same shoes, bro.
I think that's a really good point to make.
Yeah,
I was
man.
exactly the same as well, bro.
Hard, wasn't it? Like it's effort, bro.
Yeah.
And like you got a little bit of a buzz out of it, but nothing like getting high, you know what I mean? So that was the one thing, like, yeah, it's something that people need to understand is that it's not for everyone at the start, but if you just stick to doing it, you'll end up
like anything.
Yeah, bro.
Just like anything.
And I've said this in another podcast. I did a fitness podcast a while back. Fitness can be anything too, bro. It doesn't have to be lifting weights, man. It can be golf, running, yoga, whatever, man. It can be whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
But for me personally, I started training because I wanted to obviously get in a routine, but I wanted to look good, man.
Of course.
I like looking good. I love looking good, man. That was my main driver for training. It wasn't...
So self-image is very important for you.
Self-image is very important, bro.
Yeah.
That's why I always keep myself clean, cut. And I don't do it just for... I do it for other people to make sure that they see this, but I look in the mirror at myself, and I remember having times when I was in jail, look at myself going, look at you, man. Look what you've become.
Bro.
Look where you are. Sort your shit out. And I don't want to ever look in the mirror and not be happy with what I see. I look in the mirror, man, and I look in the mirror and I look at myself and I think, fucking oath. Like, not being a smart, but look how far you've come. Look at the person you are.
100%.
Your heart is real. Your intentions are pure. I can look at myself in the mirror and be proud of who I am. And fitness has a lot to do with that, bro.
Yeah.
Yep. So that gave me the structure. So we started training. Actually, a good mate of mine, Robbie C, he started, this is when we're in the bad boy unit. He used to make us come out every Saturday and I used to hate it, bro. And it was circuit training. Conditioning, bro.
Yeah,
so
bro.
we'd be using everything that we could to create a circuit.
Yeah.
And this is before like the circuit training was big, like when F45, this is before F45 got big and stuff. Yeah. And he sort of created this sort of shit in jail. Every Saturday, but boys, we're going out, we're going to hit the circuit, you got to do it. And I'll be like, fuck, come on, Robbie.
And it was
Saturday,
like full
bro.
military shit, hey?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
and it wasn't just lifting weights, having big rests and all that stuff.
No.
And to be honest, I fucking hated it. But I'd show up for the boys. So I'd get up, I'd be like, all right, put the boots on, let's go. And that's how it started training like that. Everything we'd do in jail would be a circuit training. So dips, chins, that sort of stuff. With his Saturday circuit, so there was more cardio involved. Yeah. And wasn't a fan, bro. Was not a fan of cardio back then. So yeah, that's how it sort of started off. Then I started realizing, oh, I'm looking good when I finish a workout. I'll look in the mirror and see I got a pump. And I'll be like, how much further can we take this? Yeah. So I started training really hard, training with the other boys that were a lot older, a lot more developed, a lot more experienced with jail training because you got to be creative in there.
Yeah, man, don't you just?
Yeah, bro. And then it gave me something to wake up and then I'd do, every day. Do it, whether it's once a day, twice a day. I'd make sure I'd get it done and then it just stuck. You know what I mean?
Created that habit, right?
Yeah, man. And just the discipline of doing it, even though like you've got no one to impress in there, but you've always got to stay on point with, like, you got to let people know that you can handle yourself because in there you get eaten up if people sniff a bit of weakness.
Yeah.
So,
I actually spoke about this the other week, man.
Yeah.
Vulnerability, right? It's something that's so important now. But I mean, if you show vulnerability in jail, you're going to get eaten alive. 100%.
And that's why it's hard for us to come out and say certain things and be real and be raw and be vulnerable and tell people this sort of shit because it can be used against us.
Right.
Ammunition, right? They can be shot straight back at us. Not that we're going to get jumped in the street for saying this sort of stuff by people because they think we're weak, but people can say, oh, this person, he's nothing, he used to be this and that just because he's doing that now. That's thoughts that cross my head. Before doing this podcast, bro, like I told you, I'll keep it real. I even said to Benny, I said, man, I'm not sure how much I want to share because I'm a bit nervous of what people think and how they'll judge me afterwards, you know what I mean? So, and then I talked to the missus and she goes, fuck it. She goes, just be real, just be raw. And if people don't like it, it doesn't matter.
I'm that fucking proud of you.
Yeah, bro.
Shit, man.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate
fucking proud
it.
of you, bro. It's a big moment for you, man.
Because I've been asked to go on, like I told you, multiple podcasts, bro, and I've been like, like they're going to ask me about my previous life because people, well, they want to know. It's exciting.
Where you came from, what your past was, right?
Definitely, bro. And people get excited about that, especially if they haven't lived that lifestyle. So for me personally, bro, I was very nervous about sharing that with those people. And so I wasn't sure. But with what you're doing, like I told you, bro, you're inspiring in yourself, man. Like obviously we didn't kick it back in the day properly, but watching that you've come, and you've been to jail a few times, right? Six times in total. I remember listening to your podcast. And normally once you've done twice, 3 times, I think that you're done. Right? I think that's your life because most mates that have done it multiple times, that's it. They just keep going back. So for you to get out of that, I find a lot in what you've done, like 6 times, bro, that's a lot. People would, like your family and that would be like, give up, you know, they'd be at a stage, like he's just going to keep doing it. 6 times is a lot, bro. And when people would come back when I was in there and I'd be like, this is what I'd say to him, bro. And it's not putting anything on you, but I'd say to him, you're a fucking loser. If I was given a chance, I ain't coming back. Mark my fucking words. And I haven't, you know what I mean?
Yeah, bro.
I even got off and got on parole. So I got sentenced to 3 years, did 1 inside, and then 2 on parole. Never pissed dirty, never missed a appointment. Yeah. Did everything by the book, bro. I got harassed because of my history and the links that I had with the people I had. Every time I would go in, I'd be getting searched. I'd be shoes stripped off, socks stripped off. When I'd come outside, news cameras outside, put me up against the wall. And I'm trying to do the right thing, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm not saying it's wrong what they're doing because I'm privileged to get parole. Yes. Parole's not a given. You don't just get parole.
You got to earn that shit.
You got to earn that shit, bro. And if you want to live in the community when you get a 3-year sentence, you have to follow suit. And I had a lot of mates that would complain and sook about it, bro. But I was always like, hey, this is a privilege. I could either do 3 years in jail or do 1 in jail and do 2 outside and do the right thing. And that's another thing that kept me on track too. So once I got out, bro, this is going back into the fitness question. Once I got out, I had to roll the dice a little bit to get back on my feet. So I had to do a few things, clear up a few things, had a few things to sort out. And then I was like, now I'm going straight and narrow. Let's go. I've sorted out everything I needed to sort out, and it's time to go. So I started working, bro. Started painting. I had no idea what I was doing. It was I guess you could say a family friend that got me into it. My dad got me into it actually and it was one of his mates. And $15 an hour. It's not the hardest job, don't get me wrong. I've done worse.
That shit hurts when you're used to making coin, eh?
Fucking oath it does, bro. And every single day getting up and doing the thing. But that created good habits and discipline. Yeah. Worked tons of shitty jobs. Precast concreting, I did bricklaying, I did painting. I did so many shit jobs, bro. But it all led to this phone call that I got from my brother. And this is the part that brings me back to the fitness part. Yeah, man. I was just doing precast concreting at this time and I wasn't happy with what I was doing, bro. I was making good money at that time. This is back in 2000 and maybe 14, I think it was. Yep. And I was making like nearly $2,000 a week, but I was breathing in concrete dust. I nearly died at work a couple of times with shit getting dropped on me. Working with people that, I hate to say it, but they're not intellectually on my level. I didn't really vibe with them. They were funny guys and that, but I wouldn't hang out with them outside of work. And I felt like, man, I'm better than this. And not being rude, I feel like I deserve more. Not that I deserve, I feel like I'm worth more. Yes. Yeah, so I ended up getting a phone call from my brother. And we don't talk, bro. Me and my family, we're all independent. I've been independent since I was 16 years old, bro. Lived on my own, never asked for a handout, never got money from my parents, bro. Even though my dad had money, mum didn't have money, so I didn't expect anything from her. She was always looked after me as a kid, but I thought, if she's doing it, I should be able to be independent, right? She's doing it with 3 kids, then I need to fucking step up, do it myself. So I was always independent, man, and never relied on another soul. So that was a thing for me. Then he gives me a call and says, hey, do you want to come up to Brizzy? And I said, Brizzy, what for? You live in Tassie, la-da-da-da-da, because we're from Tassie originally, but I grew up on the Gold Coast. And he goes, I'm thinking about opening up an F45. Do you want to come in and fucking run the show? And I was like, fuck. And I was just thinking to myself at that very point, which is so weird, I thought, this is a moment right now. This is where my life is going to change. One way or the other. It was so weird, bro. When I got the phone call, I saw the name and I know it's my brother. We don't chat a lot. So at that time. And then when it rang, got that and I was like, fuck, the life's had to change. Okay, and I said to the missus, because she hated her job too, I said, we're going to pack up and go to Brizzy. What do you reckon? She goes, fuck it, let's go. So we packed everything up. Up we went, bro, within no matter of time at all. Yes, and then my journey started with F45. Now, I was already training when I was working and stuff, but I wasn't as skilled as what I am now. I didn't know the ins and outs of technique. I didn't know what foods to eat. I didn't have a PT, like Cert 3 or Cert 4 or anything in nutrition. I had nothing, bro. So I was going up there with my dick in my hand, basically. You know what I mean?
I do, bro. I fucking do, man.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Bro, yeah.
But I had the personality, I had the charisma, but I didn't have the education. So then I just started focusing, because now my money's coming from fitness, All right. Everything I do now is fitness related. There's nothing else that matters to me. And like I said to you before, where you're the same as me, whether it's ADHD or whatever, the way we're brought up or made up, we're either 100% on that or not at all.
Yes, bro.
Yep. Whether we're being bad or being good, where I'm going to be a criminal, I'm going to do this or that, or I'm going to be the best PT in the world or run the biggest brand or whatever it is. I want to take it all the way to the top. And if I fall short, I don't care, but I want to be the best I can be. Yeah. And that was my thought. So I lived and breathed fitness from that day onwards, bro, and never stopped. Training was, well, to be honest, man, training, actually, the motivation for training came from my clients, because who am I to tell them to do this or eat like that or train like that or lift that if I don't look good or if I'm not leading by example? Yeah. So my biggest motivation over the years was my clients, man. That literally was, because I wanted to be the leader. And if I was training at a gym, if someone, and this comes down to physical, I know it's shallow, but if someone doesn't look better than me, in my eyes, I feel like, say if they're overweight or this or that, why should I listen to them if they can't? And they might have the education, but they don't have the discipline. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it could go the other way as well.
You can't teach what you haven't got, right?
Exactly, bro. And I know that there's PTs over there, there's PTs out there that aren't in good shape and do know their shit, but you've got to lead by example. So you need to fucking stop eating that extra food or do whatever it takes to get yourself into good condition so you can prove that your process works.
Yeah, let's not sit on the fence around this, bro. Let's fucking go all the way to one side. Like, if you're fucking leading by example, you're in the fitness industry, you're meant to be promoting fitness.
100%.
Don't eat like shit. Mm-hmm. Don't treat yourself like shit, because your client's looking up to you and they think that's all right, and really you're leading them astray.
That's exactly right, bro. And who are you to talk? If you can't live and breathe it and you're telling them to live and breathe it, you're a hypocrite.
Yeah.
You're a fucking hypocrite.
100%, bro.
So that was my main motivation for training. Obviously, looking good to start. Then obviously my clients, but then the thing that changed for me later on as I got a little bit older and a little bit wiser, the mental health. I've never struggled with mental health really ever. I've been sweet with it, but I found when I didn't train, I wasn't as happy and vibrant because I become addicted to this thing, which is training. So like I get addicted to everything that I do. Training was now an addiction. Yes, bro. But a good one. But I also had stages where it was a bad one because I went too hard. I was training 7 days a week. I wasn't resting properly and doing things, like I was going too hard, you know what I mean? Yeah, so there was points in my life where I've gone too hard even on the fitness, which sounds fucking out of control, but it was true.
There's always a shadow and a light side to everything, right?
Definitely right. And without that contrast, how can you have the light? Like without the dark, how can you appreciate the light? If everything's perfect all the time, then how does it feel good? Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's like you become redundant and you get used to it, right?
Exactly, man. Yeah. And then without that contrast, you'll never appreciate that. So I find that this is a thought that comes into my head all the time now, whenever something bad happens in life, I'm grateful for it because I know it's going to come out the other end, but I never used to be like that. No. I used to be like, fuck this, like, why is that happening? You know what I mean? I never used to play victim because I knew everything that I did was my fault. I've never ever played victim. I've always copped on the chin, but I go, fuck, why'd I do this? Why'd I do that? But now I look at it completely different. Something, and like minor bad things happen these days, bro. It's nothing like it used to be. Like things that happen bad now are fucking minor compared to what they used to be. So really, you can deal with anything, you know what I mean? Yes, bro. But you need those dark times to bring the light, and anyone can relate to this. Doesn't matter if you've been in jail, if you've been in trouble, you've been addicted to drugs. Everyday person can understand darkness. Light needs darkness.
You break up, you feel like shit. You're fucking in a relationship, you feel really happy because that person adores you and looks after you.
Yep.
You have a pay rise at work, then you lose your job. It's you got to have those dark times to remember that this is life.
You got to work a shit job to appreciate the good job.
Fuck yes.
And that's why being in fitness now, bro, I couldn't be any more happier than what I am because it's what I fucking love. And you know what, bro? Like I'm super educated in fitness, and it's all, you know what it's all from? It's obviously I did my certs and stuff like that, and I looked for the best person to do my certificate 3 and 4 through, right? So what I looked for on the way through, I looked for someone in the industry that had done something pretty out there, you know what I mean? So I found a guy named Chris Hazeman, located in Brisbane. He was like one of the first Australian UFC fighters, right?
Wow.
And he used to fight back in the day where it was like, you could wear shoes, I'm pretty sure bare knuckles as well.
Just like cage fighting type shit.
Bro, yeah. So he was one of the first Aussies in the UFC, and it was like that brutal old school shit. Now, it wasn't just because of that, but because of the way he got his body in shape, the mindset he needs to be a fighter, like, because I love fighters, bro. Nearly majority of my mates are fighters. I've got so many mates.
So much respect for them, bro. After going through a weight cut and actually doing like a fight camp properly,
bro.
So much respect for them. Like,
more respect.
I could shout out a few of the boys, man. They're fucking absolute menaces, bro, and absolute weapons. Just for the mindset they have to go through that on a day-to-day basis, man.
It's not easy, and it's very lonely too.
Yeah.
But I found him. And obviously he knew about nutrition because he'd have to wake up for his fights. He knew about, I wanted to learn to strike properly as well. I learned a lot in jail from all the boys and that, but like...
Pad work in there and power work out here are two different things.
Oh, yeah, bro.
Did you actually have pads or did you have to hit thongs?
We had pads in there, bro.
We had to hit thongs, bro.
Yeah. So
taken off us.
What date did you go in?
The first time would have been in 2016. No, 2000... 2015, I think.
2015.
Oh, no, hang on. I've been out for 6 years now, and I was in for on and off for like 4 years. Fucking, would have been like, 2013, bro. Maybe even around the same time you got out, I reckon.
True. So you didn't have pads back then?
No, I think, so I went straight from the reception wing.
Yep.
To BCC, and at BCC,
Stitch up.
At BCC they had absolutely, because I was on the run from parole breach anyway.
Yep.
Yeah,
so you got to do your time of parole, don't you?
Yeah.
Fuck, bro. Everyone. I only stayed at the one jail, Arthur Gorrie. Shout out to AGCC. What a spot.
Actually, no. Let me correct myself there. When I was actually there, I did a year at Arthur Gorrie, and they did have pads then. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Well, we had the pads there. So you do your pad work in there. I was learning from like some bad dudes, like they could fight. They were street fighters, but they weren't exactly boxers. So coming out here's a different story. But anyway, back to fucking Chris Hazeman. Yeah, so I found him, and I'm like, all right, I want to do a course through him because he's done it all. You know what I mean? I feel like he's got some notches on his belt. So I did it with him. His nutrition side of things, bro, were next level. Like things you don't get in a PT course.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people. Like I told you, all or nothing. So when I'm in there, I wanted to be face to face. I didn't want to do the part-time shit. So I'm face to face every day I could. And I'm hand up, question. What I'm going to do this. All about macronutrients, figuring out how. I never knew nothing before this. So for me, this is a whole new world that just opened up. And I was addicted, bro. So I learned from, I like to say, the best person I could in that area.
Yes.
And that helped me as well. And then, bro, the rest of the journey is like, just basically being involved with people and helping them change their lives. Like the reason why I'm comfortable sharing this story is because I'm sharing it with you. You've been through the same shit, so I feel more comfortable. Yeah. Also because you're not going to judge me, obviously. People may out there, this is my biggest worry was people judging me, especially with business and things like that, thinking of me as something less than what I am. But I am what I am, and it is what it is. And I don't share this story with anybody, so it's going to be new to a lot of people that are probably tuning in. But to my mates and stuff, they all know the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, and then just like changing people's lives, bro. Like, whether it's losing weight or people bouncing back from, like we said before,
drug addiction, things like that.
Drug addiction, breakups, this and that, whatever it is, man. When you're a PT, as you would know this too, you're more than just a PT, and people go, "Oh, come on, bro!" But you're a psychiatrist, a psychologist. You're a mentor. You're a role model. You're a shoulder to cry on, bro. I get messages all the time, even from people I don't even know.
Of course.
But from clients, people I don't know, people fucking in another country asking this, saying that, like. You're helping people, man, and that's a cool feeling. So I feel like I've always been in debt to the world. Like I told you before we started this podcast, that's why I've always been nervous about saying this and letting the cat out the bag. And man, there's a lot more that went on, but we dove into a little bit of it, obviously.
Yeah, bro.
But people get a rough idea of what life was like. But man, like, yeah, fitness pretty much, I would say, saved my life in a sense, bro, by giving me something and giving me some purpose, man. Because what was I going to do? Like, I wasn't that old, obviously, by when the time I got out of jail. But what was I going to do? Be a tradie for the rest of my life? And I wouldn't be happy with that. And I can't live my life being average. I need to be. I've got higher expectations for myself. So me rocking up, being a tradie, and doing all those bits and pieces. Respect to all tradies, not knocking them at all, but it's not for me.
Yep.
It's not for me. I have different plans and different goals in my brain, and I don't want to use my body as a tool to get paid. You know what I mean? As in, like, I have to be digging holes and doing this and casting concrete and driving forklifts and all that sort of shit. I'd rather be able to help other people, bro, and I get a real buzz out of it, like you would too.
Of course, man.
Yeah, it's a special feeling, bro. And everyone is out there. I heard this somewhere as well. Everyone's out there to service somebody. It's just in what sort of way. So as humans, we're designed to want to service and help others, but everyone's got a different way of doing it. Like my mum, for example, she was a nurse and that. My sister's a nurse. My other sister was a nurse as well. Grandma was a nurse. They liked to help the injured, the sick, the whatever, aged care, wiping bums. I'm sorry. I would help them in other ways, but that does not float my boat. I won't be wiping asses and doing that sort of stuff. I do care work at the moment, but it's not like that. I work with mentally, what do you call it, impaired people that have disabilities and stuff, but I don't wipe bums and that. And that's just on me. I just don't want to do that. And it doesn't, I'll wipe my son's ass. Yeah. No questions asked.
I'm with you there, bro.
Yeah, bro. And I'm
with you there.
Bro, for
no
people
judgment
that don't,
here, bro.
If people don't wipe their own kids' ass, because I've heard people talk about like, oh no, the missus does all that, bro. Fuck that. Be a man and step up, bro. Fatherhood's another thing that saved my life as well, bro. Yeah. And we could probably dive into that too, but like, fatherhood is a big thing that saved my life. So fitness, obviously, helping others, and then fatherhood is another thing. I was already doing the right thing before having my son. But when I found he was coming, and we were trying. We only tried, bro. It didn't take long. We were trying for like maybe a month, and it was on.
Testament to you, bro.
Yeah, bro. But the whole time we've been together, just say I got a strong pull-out game.
Yeah.
We've been pretty good throughout the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When we were very young, had one abortion, obviously. But pull-out game was pretty strong, and we've been together for 13 years now. You know what I mean? So it's been a long time.
That's huge.
But when we tried, it happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's cool, man.
Yeah, very cool. So, but I was already doing the right thing. But when I found out he was coming along, and you would have had probably the same thing. I heard your story's a little bit different than mine, and I respect you for sharing that story too, because that was tough, bro. That was a good story too. And seeing how you communicate with him now is pretty special too, bro. It's awesome.
He's a little man, bro.
Bro, he is. And that's beautiful. That's what I love about it. So I always wanted a boy, and I always wanted a mini me.
Yeah, bro.
And I was very excited about that, and I got that.
Yeah,
but then when I found out he was coming along, I'm like, fuck, okay. So I'm working here, doing this, doing that. But my biggest fear was watching my parents. So my dad, as you heard the story, had it all. Mum had it all down Tassie too when they moved up here. My dad went through, he got pinched with a pill press and all this sort of stuff. Lost a lot of money, breakups, lost houses to females. Mum spent all the money just providing for us and sold all the investment properties and that. Where I see them at now, and I've said this to them too, and it sounds rough, where I see them now scares me. I don't want to end up like that. They're still working.
Yep.
My mum's still busting her ass, working like cleaning, 2 jobs, cleaning job and working at another restaurant as well, busting her fucking ass. And she's getting old, bro. And I'm watching my dad. He had a fucking good life, bro. Right up until about after he got pinched and that. So we had this conversation the other day. He had 20 years in his prime, fucking doing whatever he wanted. So he said to me, he goes, look, I'm not glad I'm in the position I'm in, but he goes, I had 20 years of running amok in my prime. He had a good time. Yeah. And now he's got to do 10 years or more of a hard time. But he goes, I'm cool with that. He goes, I need that because he's on the straight and narrow too. You know what I mean? So when my son was coming along, I was like, fuck, okay, my biggest fear, what are your 2 jobs as a father? It's protect and provide. And if I can't do those 2 things, I fail. And I don't like failing, bro. I don't think I've really failed many times in life. And that's the thing that stops me from doing some shit that puts me outside my comfort zone because I'm scared to fail. That's probably my biggest downfall. And that's why I'm going to start doing a few more things. I've done plenty, but like people go, come on, bro, you've done this and that. But there's a few things that scare me and I don't want to do them unless I know I've got it.
Yeah.
Which is, it's weak sort of in a sense, but it's just my mentality. I only like winning. And everyone's the same, but some people can cop a loss better than me, but I've never been good at it because I've never done it a lot. Mm-hmm. So I've got to learn to deal with that. I need to cop a loss. I've copped a loss with like other things in life, but when it comes to sport and competing and that, never really copped a loss.
It's a hard thing to come back from, bro, sometimes.
Fuck yeah, bro. And you've done it yourself. That's why I respect you again. You got in the ring the other day, right?
Yeah.
Not long ago. And that was coming off a loss.
Yeah.
Did it again.
Yeah.
And then I was like, fuck, I need to step my game up. With you skydiving that. So with you skydiving and doing those things, I was like that. But back to that, protect, provide for your son. If I can't do that shit, I'm a failure. And my biggest fear is failure. So I was like, I got to step my shit up. So then I started thinking about what can I do? So I started running a clothing company, looked towards doing a new franchise. And that's where we came up with, obviously we're involved there, 45 and that. It was great. We did really well. We conquered, bro. Like the studio that I was in charge of, I turned that into the best studio in Australia. And you know how many studios there are in F45, bro?
They're like McDonald's.
Yeah, bro. Exact same deal. So basically, to elaborate on that, the Port Melbourne one, it was killer. They were killing it, you know what I mean? And a good guy running it too, and he's running another successful franchise at the moment. And they had it, and I was like, man, we won the best in Queensland. And I'm like, that's good, but it's not good enough. I'm like, let's get the best one in Australia. Yeah. Yep. So we ended up getting that. We kicked all the goals with F45 and that. And then I'm like, all right, now it's time to do something different. So I went to a business venture with another mate. It fell through. He was struggling with addiction. I was trying to get him out of addiction and I was babying him. Still love him to this day. Yeah, bro. But he was just fucking up, bro. Yeah. He was just fucking up. And I left everything that was successful up there to come down here and start something fresh. And yeah, bro, fucking, he let me down. Can't put it all on him, but he let me down. He knows he did. And I learned from that mistake, bro. But everything happens for a reason, and that didn't work out. And then I got that, you know how I said I got that call from my brother? I got another one. And he goes, hey, bro. And I'm like, here we go again. What's this? It's one of those moments. And he had a few wines. He's with the misso, and he's like, we've got a plan. And I'm like, what's the plan? And they had like a rough sketch of what they wanted to do. And I'm like, yeah, I like it, but I feel like it needs some work. Let's work on it together. And then we went into business with each other and developed No FOMO, the brand, you know what I mean? Yeah. And came up with this idea that it's very similar functional HIIT training like F45, but we want to deliver it differently. We want to make it a little bit more affordable. We want to make it 24/7 so you can do it whenever you like because class times are a big issue in that. We want to make it if you sign up to one, you can train at all of them. So if you're traveling around, you can do it all. So we try to do what they were doing, but do it better. better and change some shit up in there, like make it look like a nightclub inside, have DJ crafted beats from like mad DJs and shit like that. They're like the lighting and stuff in there, the vibe, like it just was something different, you know what I mean? So that's where we came up with that. And that was my main driver, was my son. And in my office, man, I've got a picture up of my son, and I look at that every day, and he's holding a stack of cash, right? Yeah, you got to have them there, bro.
You got to have them, bro.
They're your biggest drivers,
100%, bro.
Your kids are your biggest drivers, whether you got 1 or 10 or whatever it is. If you got 10, you got a bit more work to do.
You got to be stacking a bit more cash.
We've only got 1, we're all right at the moment, but maybe more will come when we hit some more goals and hit a new level.
Yeah, bro.
But yeah, bro, it's that's my motivation, bro. That was the big thing for me. So I look at that photo of him sitting there, like he's only maybe 2 in that photo. Yeah, he had his second birthday at that house. So it was 2 at that photo. And it's tattooed on my back now too, bro. That's how much it means to me, you know what I mean? Yeah, so I look at that every day, and he's my purpose. Like, obviously I want to do good for myself, make myself proud, because I hold myself quite highly. But he is that next level of push, because I don't want to be a failure.
Us, right?
Exactly right, bro. And they pick up everything that we do, man. Yeah. And he sees me doing the little things in life, like, he comes with me to the gym every morning. He watches me do the ice baths every day, puts his hand in and goes, whoa, no. Yeah, sees me doing, like, sitting on the computer for hours on end, and I need to get my balance right sometimes too. I work too much. So that's probably a negative that he may see, because I'm fucking sitting on that computer non-stop working. But he sees everything, bro, and I want to be a good leader and a good example to him, and want him to understand that you've got to work hard to get what you want in life, because we started late. You and I started late, bro. Everyone else that I knew, when I was getting out of jail and stuff, the people that I went to school with, I didn't necessarily hang around them when I was doing my thing, because we're on different paths. Of course. But they were starting to buy houses and do all this sort of shit. I'm getting out, bro, and I'm going to Centrelink to get my crisis payment.
A couple of $100 to fucking
bro.
Get you back on your feet.
Yeah, bro. And obviously a few other things, like people that owed me money, so I had to go sort that stuff out too. But that's how I was getting back on my feet. You know what I mean? These people are buying houses and that, and I was like, fuck, I'm getting left behind here. And I don't like getting left behind, and I don't like losing, because I'm competitive. So I was like, all right, it's time to go. So that's where the hustle came from, bro. But to be honest, I wouldn't like to have to do it all again. Yeah. From scratch. No. Fuck, it's a tough journey, bro. Like, yeah, man, there's a lot of work that went into it, a lot of sacrifice to get here. Yeah, it's fucking hard.
It is, man. I think I can connect with that as well, bro, because I obviously getting out of jail 6 times.
Yeah, man.
I had to start
6 new starts.
Pretty much every single time, man. It was only the last one where I was like, fuck it, it's time now to actually sort my life out, do my PT course. And that was the changing moment for me. But, bro, like, whereas you were sorting your life out, at the time I was doing my PT course and I was still swinging off the end of the pipe.
Yeah, and that's okay.
It's right. It got me there.
That's okay.
It got me there, and it was through obviously having my son that was like, that's the turning point for me. Yeah. So obviously you said your son was your biggest inspiration.
Yeah, man.
What are the other big inspirations in your life?
Man, looking back at who I was. Now, when I say who I want to make this clear. I don't know if I made this clear, but I wasn't a bad person. I never did anything bad to the good people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
The only things that ever happened were to bad people that did bad things by my friends. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I look back to the point I was in my life, and how far I've come. And to me, that's a massive... I'm my own inspiration, which sounds fucking...
No, bro, no.
Pretty silly.
No, I agree with that 100%.
You do? And you've got a similar thought?
I'm exactly the same, bro, yeah.
Cool. And I'm not scared, because, like, obviously smoking the whistle, getting on the gear and that shit does not cross my mind. Don't get me wrong. When I gave up, it was hard. But I said it to myself. I just woke up one day and I said, I'm done. I'm fucking done with it. Because when I got out, I had a little play up again. When I got out, I had a little play up, bro. Yeah. It didn't last long, but and then I had a moment where I woke up and went, fuck it, I'm done. That's how I am. I'm either on or off. Yes. And I said, I'm done. I'm cutting it. I'm out. I'm not doing it. Boom. And then I stopped it. You know what I mean? So yeah, looking back at where I was and where I am now, I'm still not happy with where I am. Like when I say I'm not happy, I'm happy with where I am, but bro, we got so much more to go. We've only been doing this for how long? People have been living their life and working for their whole life. We have had a lot of our life lost, not saying the jail swallowed it up, but drugs swallowed it up, bro.
We swallowed it up ourselves.
We swallowed it up ourselves, bro, by getting involved in that sort of shit. So not like I did hard time, bro. 12 months, anyone can do it, and it's good for you if you need it. But yeah, the inspiration comes from there. Obviously my son. And then to be honest, bro, I've got a couple of people around me, like got a lot of mates that are like good mates have been with me since day one. Not a lot of them inspire me, but I've got like a couple of good close mates that are fucking... The way that they've in worse situations than me. Yeah, bro. And the way they've changed their lives and the way they're pushing forward. And it's the guy we mentioned about before we'll be jumping on this, and he's got so much to tell you. Yeah, he's an inspiration to me as well, bro.
Nothing but time for him, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Gentleman.
Yeah, 100%. And like when I say he's the realest of real, he is the realest of real.
Hard out.
And there's no dick sucking there. He knows what it is. We keep it real and honest with each other. Me and him are fucking... I met him in jail, bro. Yeah, and out of all the people I met in jail, like I knew everyone in jail, most of them, but then the people that I met, like the scummies and all the, bro, I couldn't find one good person if I tried.
Yeah.
He was the only one person that I met and that I've had in my home, had around my child, like the only person, like don't get me wrong, I've got criminal mates from the past that have met my son and all that sort of stuff, but he's the only one that I've met in jail, that I've taken from jail, and man, I feel like he's a blessing to my life, you know what I mean?
Right,
A blessing, yeah. So he's someone, I don't get inspired by people, bro, to be honest. Like, I'm not saying that they don't inspire me, but I don't like to piggyback off someone else. Like, if I see you do something cool, that did inspire me, that does. But how people are doing their own journey, that's on them. Doing crazy shit like you've done, bro, that inspires me massively because it makes me feel like I need to step my game up. But inspiration, man, honestly comes from within most of the time. And then it's also my why, and my why is my son, and also the fear. So the fear is my inspiration as well. The fear of being a failure and the fear of not making it.
Okay.
That is probably my biggest driver as well, apart from my son. Yeah, the fear of failure and not succeeding. That's scary, bro. That's my biggest fear. Failure.
If you could give a piece of advice to someone that might be in a similar situation to what we were
Yeah.
all those years ago, or might be struggling with whatever it may be, what would be the one piece of advice you'd give to them to help them to create positive change in their life?
Well, number one would fucking take a look around you. Have a look at the people you're hanging out with. Take the common denominator out. Take the whistle, take the drugs, whatever it is out of the situation. What do you got in common? So first look at your group. Are they really there for you? Because I don't fuck with people that I don't love and I wouldn't go to war for, you know what I mean? And if they won't do the same for me, I won't hang out with them. So first of all, take a look at your surroundings and who you're hanging out with. You might get a rude shock, especially when you're sober. Then find some purpose. Purpose is number one. And even since getting out of jail, bro, when I didn't have purpose, when I come to start that business down here with a mate and it fell through, I lost my purpose, went off track a little bit. Never like the old shit, but just started losing motivation, started losing purpose and lost my why. Get a why, get a purpose. And then just fucking grind until you fucking can't grind anymore. And even when you think that you're maxing it out, you're not even maxing it out, bro.
No, you've always got more there.
You've always got more in the tank. So yeah, take a look around you first of all and have a good fucking look at yourself in the mirror. That's number one. You probably figure out you're a bit of a loser. You probably look at yourself and go, fuck, yeah, you're right. At the time, if you're high and intoxicated, you're probably listening to me thinking, fucking dickhead, he doesn't know nothing, he's weak or whatever. And that's what I think when people tell me to get off it as well, bro. So I've been there, done it. But take a look at yourself. It's going to take time as well because it doesn't happen overnight and you won't. There's a point in your life where you get to, me saying this message to people, hopefully it does help them, but no one can tell you what to do. You got to do it yourself. That's another important piece of information. I had so many people say to me, Chase, you need to do this, bro. Hand yourself in, do this, do that, sort your life out. Fuck off. Until I was ready to do it, I'd do it. So take a look around, look in the mirror. That's number one. Assess yourself. Are you impressed? Are you proud? Will your family be proud of you? Are you proud of you? That's number one. Find a why, find a purpose, and then just fucking jump on that and go ham on it and just focus on that one thing until you get it right. And then once you've perfected that one thing you've done right, then start looking at other things to do to try to accomplish and try to conquer and shit. But focus on that one thing first, because if you split yourself at the start, it's going to take you twice or 3 or 4 times as long to get there. So
if you do get there, that is. They say chase 2 rabbits and you'll catch none.
I heard you say that on another podcast too, but I like that.
You like that? It's so true, but right, man. Like I've done it in the past where I've got so many different ventures and things happening that I start to lose focus, what's important, and then end up losing myself within the process, you know?
And that's a scary thing. Losing yourself is a scary fucking thing, bro. Losing yourself is bad. So I feel like what we've been through in our lives, whether it's on a small scale, big scale, whatever, what we've been through, man, I think I do not take back a thing. And it sounds...
God, no.
It sounds like people go, well, don't you regret what you did and that? Look, yes and no. I regret like doing the stupid things and whatever, but the person that's turned me into this, I'm rock solid, bro.
Fuck yeah.
I'm rock solid from what I've been through. And also another thing, I thought that I was... When I come back into the real world, you got to find yourself again. When you get off the gear, you got to find yourself.
That's fucking hard, isn't
it?
Bro,
that's what these people need to understand too. Anyone that's listening now, it takes a minimum of a year to even figure out who you are again, what you like, what you're into. Bro, I started playing footy again and I had to get my hand-eye coordination. I'm a true athlete by fucking genetics, bro. I'm good at everything I do. I sucked when I went back to footy, bro.
Yeah, bro.
My dad came and watched me play footy and I was embarrassed. I was like, from what he used to see back in the day, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
I was embarrassed. So it takes time. So you need to take some time and you need to move away. That was good for me. So you need to move away from either your group or move state or move city or whatever it is.
Separate yourself.
Separate yourself. I lived in the past when I separated too. This is another fucking thing that I struggled with for a long time. As I've moved away from the riffraff and all the shit that was going on, all my boys are still going through being soldiers, as we call ourselves, and fucking doing the bits and pieces. And I'd be living in the past, bro. And that really affected me too. That actually made me a little bit upset. I was living in the past, and they say past brings depression, future brings anxiety. I was living in the past a lot because I missed, like I feel like I was missing out on all the fun
of FOMO.
shit. Bro, 100%.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's another thing too, man. Like getting yourself out of that situation, do not live in the past. I did it for a while, probably needed to do it so I understood that it was bad for me. And then when I started living in the present, and I'm going to tell you this now, my biggest weakness is being present. Okay? So at the start of this podcast, I wasn't present. As we got into conversation, I'm present. Forgot the camera was there. Now I remember because I talked about it. But do you understand? I struggle to be present. And when I'm present, I'm firing all cylinders, bro. When I'm not present, I'm autopilot. It's not good. So
going through the motions.
Yeah, exactly. So I need to learn. I've been doing like a lot of like meditation and a lot of ice baths and breath work and stuff. That shit makes me present, and it's sort of training my brain to kick back into it now because I do it for those periods of time, and I meditate say 5-10 minutes. I don't know I'm not no crazy guru or nothing like that.
You're not meditating and shit now?
Well, not yet. Not yet. We're aiming for it.
Won't say never.
Won't say never, bro. The sky's the limit.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, those things have helped me sort of be present, but being as present as possible and living in what is now is important too. But yeah, for anyone that's going through all that shit, man, like I said, those steps. So take a look at yourself, look in the mirror at yourself, look at your crew around you, find a purpose, find a why, grind your ass off, and then it is going to take time. If you're coming off a substance like an amphetamine or a methamphetamine, it is going to take you time to figure out who you are again. And it took me a while, and I was like, I knew who I was back in the day, I thought. And then I was like, fuck, I got to start from scratch again, bro. So that is a message you need to like understand if you're listening. It will not happen overnight, and it took me a year. I'm pretty quick at adapting, and it took me a year. But I punished myself over the years. So I went hard, bro. I went harder than most people.
Brother, I probably only just figured out who I was in the last 12 months. And that was after being out of jail and being off the pipe for a long time because I didn't know who I was before that, and I turned to the pipe because of that.
Yes. Trying to find who you were, but it never took you to that destination.
That's right. I was always
but it
just
made you
looking for
comfortable
more.
for that meantime, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. Comfortability is the killer of all dreams.
Then you put that to the side, and you're sober, and then you're like,
now what?
whoa, fuck. Yeah, because let's be real, it does give you a bit of confidence. It does make you talk more. You can fit in with people better. Only if you're all doing the same thing. If you're doing with the sober person, they're going to go, what the fuck?
I don't know how to talk to a stiff or to a civ or to a normal person. I probably couldn't have even sat here and had this conversation with you today, man, because I would have been like, what do I talk about?
Yeah, but you probably had nothing to talk about back then either. Now you've got a lot to talk about. Have a look around here, bro. When you look at all the photos and stuff, there's a lot of stories here. Yeah. You know what I mean? When you're doing that shit, it's all negative stories that we throw around with each other like, fucking did this, did that, we're going to go do this. Because most of your life when you're on that shit is, I don't know about you, but
making plans
to sort shit out. Like everyone would come meet up. When the sun goes down, the creeps come out.
Yeah.
We're the creeps.
Yeah.
And there's a whole world that people don't know about after dark.
Right.
And we all get together. When the sun goes down, the glasses come off and we all go into a room. Everyone's hanging out.
Your glasses came off? Mine stayed on.
Oh, it depends. If I was pretending I was having a nap, they would come off. But that's when it would all happen.
Yeah,
and there's people, while these people that are listening that are stiffs, and good on you for being stiffs because it's the right way to go. While you're sleeping, we're out creeping. And there's shit going on that you would never even imagine. There's a whole community out there of fucking
shit you see in movies. The shit
you see in movies, bro. And I've got plenty more stories for another day. But like, the shit that goes on when normal people are sleeping, man, it's a whole nother world, eh?
Yeah, bro, 100%.
But I'm glad I got to see it all, bro.
Yeah.
I know what exists, and I'm so street smart now, bro. Like from the years of doing the things and stuff that I was doing, I'm so street smart, it's out of control. Just had to get my book smart up when I got out of jail, you know what I mean? I had to get that up. My street cred was good. I needed to get my education on point.
Well, man, this is the thing. Like you see so many people, like, even people I went to school with, right? And they get out of, school and they've got their book smarts, right?
Yeah.
They've got no idea how to run the real world.
In the real world,
right?
Yeah.
And then they hit the university, they get out, they've got this massive debt, and they're like, okay, cool, where's my job? And I can't get this fucking job, and I deserve this job apparently because
I've done everything I'm told to do.
That's right.
And it's not working.
But now what? And they've got no grit. They've got no way to actually make it happen.
And I'm not saying you got to smoke drugs and fucking do this and do that to get that. No. But adversity makes you, bro.
I think exposing yourself to those situations is the most healthy thing you can do.
Definitely.
Not obviously to the degree that we did.
We did, no. We took it too far.
Yeah, 100%. But we came back. We were lucky.
Yeah, exactly.
And not even lucky. We made that happen for ourselves.
True. Luck is not a part of it.
No,
luck is not a part of it. It's I don't know. There's something inside of you, okay? So there's
you either got it or you don't, right?
There's different people, bro. And I've watched it happen. And I see them, they talk about doing the thing that we're doing and we've done, getting out of it. Yeah. But they talk about it, but they don't follow up. And they'll try for a day, 2 week, month.
Yeah.
But they never dedicate themselves to it. But I think it starts within. And I feel like if you've got a heart inside of you, and everyone's got a heart, I know, but like a ticker, like you've got a bit of go in you, and you expect more for yourself, then you'll go and get it. You know what I mean? And those people obviously just don't have it, you know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. If your standards are higher than the other standards that people have for you, then you're always going to get after it harder than people are going to expect you to. right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's very true, bro. Yep, very true in saying that. So I think that's what differentiates us from other people is what we've got inside of us. And I think over those years, we've obviously, some people are born with it. I think everyone's born with it, but you can actually grow it as well. If you haven't got it, you haven't got it, you know what I mean? Unless you maybe go through some fucking super hard times and then come out the other end, but it either make or break you. But ticker's where it all starts for me. And without that, I've always had it, but it's definitely evolved and gotten bigger and better over the adversity.
I definitely don't think it can be taught, but it definitely can be learnt through the things that we go through. Because if you're going through hard times and you're like, this is happening to me rather than for me, you're always going to be stuck there wondering why, rather than wondering what if I do something different? What if I make the change?
Definitely, bro. It is so important. So yeah, like you said, it has to be learnt through hard times. You can't teach it. You can't say this is how you have a heart. You got to fucking deal with it the hard way. So totally agree with that, man. That's a strong point.
Man, you were talking before about doing the ice bars and doing all that uncomfortable shit, bro. Mm-hmm. So I think, like we said before, exposing yourself to uncomfortable stuff is a really, really important, I guess, thing for everyone to do, right?
Fuck yeah, bro.
So
we don't want to, but we got to.
No, that's part of your morning routine is getting uncomfortable, right?
Yep, definitely.
What does your morning routine look like?
Morning routine. So, for example, wake up in the morning. Depending on what, if I'm working in the gym, I'll be getting up because my place is pretty far from work now, so I'm getting up at 3 a.m. So I'll do a work day and then I'll do a standard day because they're different. The work day is a little bit more structured, as in time frame of getting up.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I don't sleep in, but it's a sleep in for a PT. When I say sleep in, I sleep in, but it's for PTs, it's a sleep in.
Yeah, bro. Of course.
3 a.m. wake up. And if I'm working, I'm ice bathing first thing in the morning.
Straight up.
Right? Some days when I'm not working, I'll do it at lunchtime. I'll wait 4 hours after I train and then do it then.
Yeah.
That's being comfortable though, in a sense. It's still going uncomfortable, but I'm not doing the hard way, like getting up at 3 and doing it. But if I'm working, wake up at 3, just go straight to that motherfucker, open it up, unplug it first so I don't get electrocuted, and just jump in it and just deal with it. Now, I live out in the sticks, bro, so I'm an hour away from like the center of the Gold Coast, out the back of Canungra. It's colder out there, bro.
Oh, bro, yeah.
But one thing I've learned, bro, is that ice bath, the temperature doesn't change. The exterior, outside the ice bath does. Once you get in there, it's always the same feeling. When you get out though, when it's colder, it affects you. But getting in there's the same fucking thing. Doesn't matter how cold it is. So I've learned that. Now I'm doing 30 days straight at the moment. So since I bought this thing, so I bought it and put it together. I'm doing 30 days straight. So that's been a good thing for me as well. But I'm waking up and going straight into that motherfucker. And then as soon as I do that, everything is easy from there, bro. I got that Headspace app a while back, started doing some meditation. And I'll be real and honest with you guys, I don't do it every fucking day. I don't. I'd like to sit here and say I'm perfect and do it every day. Not gonna lie to you, I don't do it every day, bro. I do it when I can. And when I say I can, I could do it every fucking day if I wanted to, but I don't. And that's just the honest truth. So I'll get up, I'll do the ice bath, I'll do some breath work while I'm in the ice bath because that's how I slow down my heart rate and my breathing and control. Once you get past that first 30 to 45 seconds, bro, it's smooth sailing from there, bro.
Before that, though. Yeah,
bro. Before you hit that where your body like equalizes, it's pretty hard. But the more you do it, the more condition you get to it. So I've gotten used to it. Same thing every day, doesn't change. So we get out of there, sort of chill out a little bit, try to dry out sort of naturally, but when I'm in a rush in the morning, and when I say rush, I've got to be somewhere at a certain time. Sometimes I will jump straight into the shower. So whether or not I'm jumping straight in the shower, I'm hanging out for a little bit, just remember it's 3 a.m, it's fucking cold outside. I've done the ice bath, I feel like I've crushed something. Jump in the shower, get ready. My morning routine is taking my supplements. So I take my multivitamins, I take my all my vitamins and stuff. I take my Train 8 in the morning. This is not a paid advertisement. I take that. I find the biggest thing in the morning, and you find this after bendering as well, and I learned that through bendering, which is something good that came with me. You are dehydrated as a motherfucker first thing in the morning.
Yeah, bro.
And when you are 2% dehydrated, I think it is 2% dehydrated, what is it? It affects your performance by 20% or something.
Wow.
Something crazy like that. So I have my magnesium, calcium, potassium, first thing in the morning in my Train 8, have that with 600 mils of water minimum. Smack that back, hydrate myself. I've been doing another thing too that I've added in it's been 20 something days now. I've been doing it for those mushrooms, those life cycle mushrooms.
Yeah, the lion's mane and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, the lion's mane. Now, whether it's placebo effect, not trying to sell anybody anything, but for me, started doing it at the same time I was doing the ice baths. For me, I find it's working. Not telling you to jump on it, just telling you that I'm doing that. So I have that in the morning as well. Get myself ready. Some days I fast in the morning, some days I do breakfast. I know fasting isn't a magic pill or anything, but some days I don't need it. If I've eaten a calorie surplus the day before, I don't eat breakfast in the morning to level myself out. That's just how I stay lean. So I either eat in the morning, make sure I get, if I do eat, I'm having my serve of protein, serve of carbs, and very low fat in the morning, just to get myself moving. Then I'm rolling out to work, go to work until about, so I'm starting at 5 a.m., working till 8. Once I'm done with that, it's my turn to train.
Yep.
So I've given everyone my energy. Now it's time for me to get something back, do a workout. After that, bro, I'm off to work and then back to the office and just working throughout the day. So that's my morning routine. It's nothing crazy, nothing fancy. It's wake up, it's fucking ice bath, it's hydration, and it's fucking get moving. You know what I mean? Don't do any crazy shit, like not getting on any machines or doing any fucking backflips or anything like that. It just is what it is. And that's just being real and raw and honest with you. Days that I'm not working, the alarm may set for a little bit later on, say maybe instead of 3 o'clock, it may be 5 o'clock, it may be 6 o'clock, and now 6 o'clock's a sleep in for me.
Yeah.
And I'm doing some caring work on the side as well, like I told you, because my goal is to work. The reason why I'm doing the caring work is because my end goal is to get to work with troubled youths. So criminal history, I've applied for my my blue card, I applied for my yellow card. I'm having a crack at another thing, only because I'm passionate about it and I want to help kids. I want to work with kids that are doing the same shit that we did. And when I say kids, it can be anywhere from 15 all the way up to 25. That's what I call a kid, because you haven't developed into a man yet.
Of course, bro.
Yep. So that's my goal. So I'm doing that on the side. So sometimes I do late nights. So when I do the late nights, I'll do my sleep until 6. I'll wake up. It's the same again. I'll either ice bath first thing in the morning or just train first thing in the morning, depending on how I'm feeling. They say there's a window after when you train to do an ice bath, let the inflammation sit for 4 to 6 hours. Yep. I try to follow by that rule, bro. I know it's only minor that it's going to affect your growth and stuff.
But it reduces the amount of inflammation, which then stops the stimulus for having hypertrophy, right?
Correct. Yeah. And it could be 1%, but I'm trying to do it anyway by the book, bro. I listen to all these podcasts and I try to take in as much information as possible so I can pass it on to my people as well. So I try to live and breathe it. Yeah, so I do that. And then basically, man, my morning routine is pretty much the same, but it's just in a different order. And then, get on with my day and start working, bro. And my work can be anywhere between working in the gym in the morning or working at night in the gym or working as a carer or just sitting in front of a computer and fucking cross-eyed all day long, bro. And that's part of running a business, bro. I've learned it's a love-hate relationship, but I've learned to love it. And
you've got to love the process, right?
The healthier you are, I find, because I've played up like in the last couple of months, you know what I mean, where I've gone out, had a drink, had a bit of a line, had a bag, whatever. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I'm not 100% perfect, bro. No, I'm not 100% perfect. So, and I'm keeping it real with you guys, but I'll never go back to my old ways. And the big thing for me, bro, and I think it could be self-sabotage. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I like getting to a point where I'm fucking killing it and then fucking self-sabotaging slightly so I can come back. Because when I've reached my peak, I feel like there's nowhere else to go. Yeah. So I'll have a bit of fun, party.
Back and then go higher.
No benders. Yeah. I don't do till the next day. None of that shit. I'll party, do a little bit of this, do a little bit of that. Yep. And then I'll fucking go to sleep and I'll get up and I'll feel like, you know what it's like when you've been sober for a long time.
Like do better.
Yep. Yeah. So I find it like a catapult. It catapults me to go again and go hard because I feel like I hit a little bit of a window or a ceiling and I feel like I need, and this could be self-sabotage. That's what I think it is. So I'll bring myself down by partying and playing up, and then I'll rocket it straight up to the next level, you know what I mean? And I know it's a fucked up way to do things, and I don't do it all the time. I'm not like a drug addict or anything, but every now and then I like to have some fun, you know what I mean? So that is what it is. Exactly right.
Have fun, man. Now, the common theme I see there, so this is the thing with morning routine. It doesn't have to be getting up, having an ice bath. It doesn't have to be any of that shit, but it's literally having a few wins in the morning so you can win the rest of the day, right? You've got those things, you've got structure, you've got discipline. Mm-hmm. That's the big thing. And this is a big thing, I think, when it comes to creating lasting, healthy change. Yeah. It's the habits, behavior, mindset. I also say training, nutrition, and also recovery, so sleep. But if you have all those 6, it's nothing without having discipline. And if you can implement those into each and every single one of your days, that healthy change is going to come quicker and quicker and quicker.
Definitely, bro. So anyone that's struggling, and something cool I heard you say, I think it was on the other podcast, I was having a research last night, I like to do my research. Yeah. You said, win the morning, win the day. And I agreed with that as well, but I also had the same philosophy as you. You've got to win the night before. Correct. Because I can win the morning, but if I'm not prepared, my morning is still not perfect. So the night before, set yourself, and it doesn't have to be everything you have to do in that day, but set out 5 key things you need to destroy that next day that have to be done non-negotiable. Yeah, bro. Right? If you're getting up early and everyone's asleep in the bed or whatever, when I say everyone, my son still sleeps with me to this day. He's 5 years old, just so everyone knows, and he'll sleep with me until he's sick of it. Yeah. And then I'll probably jump in his bed in his room because I fucking love sleeping with him. I love it.
That's the coolest thing.
Yeah, bro, I love that shit. And I don't care what anyone thinks. If they think it's the wrong way to parent, I don't give a fuck. But yeah, set those 5 things out first things in the morning, at nighttime, sorry, for the next morning. So you've got your things you have to achieve that next day. So you've got a bit of structure. Put your clothes for the gym. So like I've got a walk-in wardrobe that's right next to the main bed. So if I'm flicking on the light, looking through for my shit and that's a pain in the ass for whoever's sleeping in
You got the
bed.
visual there as well.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
So I grab my shit, get it ready for the next morning and stack that up and have a plan in place. So when I wake up, I know exactly what I have to do. First things first though, when I go to bed, I put my phone on airplane mode, set all the things I need to do for the next day. And once again, I'll be real with you guys. Some nights I skip this. That's the truth. I don't do it every fucking night, and I should. But some nights, whether it's a Saturday and Sunday, I've got nothing going on, I'll go, fuck it, I don't need to plan shit because I'm just going to go with the flow. It's nice not to have structure for one day.
Yeah, exactly right. You got to have that calm, either the chaos amongst the calm sometimes, right?
Definitely right, bro. You need a little bit of balance, you know what I mean? So yeah, set those out, and then next morning, wake up. Do not look at your fucking phone when you wake up. Rule number one. I've done it in the past. Where I feel like the biggest loser. I'm lying in bed scrolling on Instagram while people are after it, going to the gym and shit, and I get so fucking jealous. I realize, what am I doing? You know what I mean? I'm watching these people get it, and I'm behind. Yeah. I used to be like that before being right into nutrition and fitness and all that sort of stuff. Do not look at your phone. Set your phone on airplane mode at nighttime. Set out your goals. Set out your clothing, whatever you need for the first thing in the morning. So when you wake up, it's a streamlined process. You go bang, bang, bang out the door. Because getting out the door is the hardest part. Once you're gone and you're in the gym and doing what you need to do, it's easy from there on. Do you in the morning. That's the big thing for me. On those days that I sleep in slightly, if everyone gets up at the same time as me, I don't get that hour or two.
You need to have that hour of power, right?
No, it sounds selfish, but it's so true. No. Yeah, you need it. That is so important for me to not only be the first one up and be by myself, because I need to get my energy right first thing in the morning. Yeah. And I'm a pretty good morning person, bro. I've been doing it for over 10 years, but I still need to get my energy right. I still need to do a bit of me, and then I'm good to give everyone else 100% of me. Because when I'm with someone and I'm talking to them, I give them everything. Like nothing else matters. If you're talking to me, bro, I'm listening all ears and I'm not focused on my phone. I'm not fucking looking over here. Anyone that knows me knows I give direct eye contact and I'm involved in the conversation. So make sure you give nothing but 110% on that, bro. But yeah, like the morning routine, man, it's super basic, but you need to focus on yourself before you can give to others. Doesn't matter what trade you're in, what you do, give yourself some time first and then the rest of the day is smooth. But yeah, just have one bit of adversity to start your day. And it's going to suck when you start, but once you get used to it, like I get a little bit excited now. So when I know what's coming, I go, fucking here we go, you know what I mean? And it like for the first week, it was hard. I was like, I got to do it again, I'm pushing myself to do it, which is fun too, because I'm pushing outside of my comfort zone. But now I still don't get in there and go, oh, this is fucking beautiful. I'm still breathing, but man, I've got it well managed now. I get in there now, my breathing, like you've seen some of the stupid shit I'm doing now. I'm going underneath with a snorkel.
Yeah, what the fuck's up with that, bro? Getting a brain freeze in that?
Yeah, bro, just trying to make, bro, like we talk
Getting
about.
a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, and taking things to the extreme.
Yeah,
how else can we, I'm trying to think of new ideas, bro. I'm searching up ideas. What else can I do to make this fucking harder? Yeah. Not that I'm finding it too easy. It's still, it's still a test, but I want to fucking see how far I can push it without killing myself. You know what I mean? So first thing in the morning, obviously get set up by the night you set up. Like what we said, 5 things at night, set your clothes out, make sure your meals are ready if you've got a meal prep and that. Then the next day, attack that shit that you got to do you in the morning, and then fucking the rest of the day just becomes a fucking breeze.
Right.
Yep.
That's a big thing, I think. Like with a lot of people even going to the gym, that's the hardest thing they're going to do in their day. If they can get that out of the day, the rest of the day is going to be fucking amazing.
Fucking easy. And if that's your ice bath, going to the gym, like that's your bit of adversity, beautiful. Go and do that. It doesn't have, like ice bath is extreme doing it at home, I know, but I'm an extremist, not a political type. I just like to do everything to the extreme. And that's how I like to do things. Everyone's different, but whatever it is that makes you a little bit uncomfortable. We're not talking about skydiving every morning unless you can do that. But do something that makes you a little bit uncomfortable and win that fight. And then, the rest of the day is good. But most important part is, like we said, that hour of power. And it doesn't have to be an hour of power. It just sounds good, hour of power. It can be 15 minutes of meditation. Yeah, bro, he's the man. He's pretty good because his story is pretty inspiring too. Yeah. But whatever it is, whether it's 15 minutes of meditation, 15 minutes of going for a walk, 15 minutes of fucking just nothing, just sitting there, that's your meditation. Yeah. Whatever it is, do your little hour of power and then fucking get amongst it and give everything you can to everything that you've got and what people expect from you. Give them 10 times that, you know what I mean? So just be the best version of yourself. And the only way that I do that is by having that structure and that routine. And if that routine fails, and it's done many times, I have a shit a day.
Correct. I couldn't agree with you more on that, brother.
And I regret it. And I go, fuck, I fucked the start of the day up. And I try to turn it.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, it's not like a bad day, but it's not as smooth as when it's structured. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right, I do.
You'd be the same. And we need structure, man. We're people that need it. You've got ADHD. I haven't been diagnosed with it, but I've certainly got it.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I've got it. And we need structure. Otherwise, like if I don't have that list in front of me of what I've got to do, I'll start doing this, and then I'll go to do that thing there, and then this thing here, and I go to myself, what am I doing? I can't do all this at once. Just jumping from thing to thing. Then my phone goes off. That's another big tip for everyone we talked about before. Do not have your notifications on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Grindr, Tinder, whatever it is you're into. Only notification you need to have on if you need to take a call and you've got a meeting coming up, whatever. But all that fucking shit that's going to be there, and your inbox is always going to be there. Distractions, bro. That's a big thing for me too. And I'm easily distracted. I'm sure you're the same.
Butterfly.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's important, man. And people get upset with me like, oh, bro, you didn't write back to my message and that. I'm like, bro, you've got my mobile number.
Yeah.
Message me. Sometimes that'll be on airplane mode when I'm deep into a meeting or doing something. But man, notifications off. That'll all be there when you get back to it. It ain't going nowhere. I used to live differently though. That's the truth.
Exactly the same, bro. I still to this day sometimes get stuck scrolling. You know? I'll have my shit on Do Not Disturb, and then I'll have to check it for some reason, and all of a sudden I'm on Instagram, and my Instagram, I haven't even got the icon. I've got to actually search it in my phone, and it's like an automatic thing that I do sometimes. It's like
it's autopilot.
Yeah,
we all do it, bro.
Before you know it, you're fucking scrolling.
But you get to a point where you go, I'm doing it again.
Yeah, you slap yourself. Yeah, you got to catch yourself on.
That's all that matters then. Doesn't matter if you actually do that, because I still do that as well.
Yeah, we're only human.
But exactly right. And I don't have my Instagram on my thing. I have it in a folder, so I have to go to the folder to get to it. It's not just in my phone, but I can still end up on there on autopilot. And then go, what am I doing? I'm supposed to be doing this work, and I went to get something out of my phone to go to do the, like say I needed an email address or a number, and then autopilot took me straight to Instagram. So that still happens. Hide that shit away though. You know what I mean?
Get rid of it.
I've heard of people having a lockbox too.
Opal, it's called Opal.
Okay, so you've
it's
heard about it.
It's an app you can get, so and it actually fucking tells you on average how much time you're going to waste over the rest of your life by using these apps.
That's a ripper. Because in short term, doesn't sound that bad. Like some people may have a couple hours screen time a week.
Let's call it 6 hours of screen time a week, right? But then it's 52 weeks in a year. That's like fucking what?
Do the maths? Are you good at maths?
No, shit. That's like 300.
Your phone get a calculator.
There's 300 hours in it. So hang on, 6 hours a day, 52 weeks in a year. So that's
times that by
7.
Yeah, 7.
I'm fucking shit, bro. You got to help me here. 350 times
6 hours. 6 hours a day. Times that by 7. Then times that by 52.
Look, it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's more than you can afford.
It's a lot.
It's more than you can afford.
It's a lot. So like there was an ad for it, and it said you're on average going to spend 22 years on your phone.
It's already sad enough how much we have to sleep.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, we used to hate sleeping. Yeah. But obviously sleep is the best now. And
isn't it what?
Yeah. I'm 7.5 hours minimum. Yeah. And 8 hours good for me. Like I don't go much over 8.
Do you track your sleep? Do you know how much like REM and shit like that you get?
Yeah, bro. I use my I've got my Garmin watch. I just go to bed every fucking night though. Because when I wear it to bed, bro, I've heard like I don't know whether it's radiation or whatever.
Shit,
it's got to have a negative effect, right?
Of some sort, yeah.
Yeah, but I've tracked it and I've seen it, and sleep does vary, whether it's good or bad. But when I'm asleep, I don't know. But when I look at that graph, it tells me that I've had this or that. So yeah, I normally wake up pretty good as long as I get my 7. Like, don't get me wrong, some days I function on 5 or 6 depending on how busy I am. Yeah. But for me, the sweet spot's 7.5. Yeah. And then 8 is good. If I'm doing 9 or 10, I'm overdoing it. Yeah, I'm feeling sluggish and don't want to do much after that. So 8 hours is pretty spot on for me. Yeah.
Now we've spoken a lot about the past, but what about the future, Chayse? What does the future hold for you, my friend?
Oh yeah, so the past is obviously fun to talk about because it's some shit people can experience through living through what we're talking through and that. It's a lot of negative shit. It's fun to have a laugh about. But we've got to think about the future, obviously. And I live, like I told you, I struggle to be present, so I live in the future, which is a problem. But I'm always thinking about what's next. Okay, so, but for me, the future holds, man, I just want my brand, my business to flourish. I want to change as many lives as possible in the most uncliche way possible. Because I know that's what everyone says and stuff when it comes to fitness, but that's what we're here for. We're here to change lives. We've changed ours. We're living proof. Right? That's exactly right. Doesn't matter how we do it, but we're doing it that way. I want my brand to blow up because the thing with my brand too, bro, it's something a little bit different that people probably don't know. Every dollar from every membership every week, you know this? A lot of people don't. So every dollar, so say we've got 300 members at our gym. $300 a week comes out, like goes into a trust account for our charitable trust, the Green Shoe Foundation, and that goes towards helping kids, like less fortunate kids. Like our aim is kids, man, because when you're a dad too, bro, kids are everything, man.
We give everything we can to our kids, right? But what if there's kids out there that don't have that, right?
They don't have that. And a lot of people, like a lot of my mates, the reason why they turned the way they did is because they didn't have that support or that sort of shit. So every dollar from that, and it doesn't sound like much, but we've got 3 studios open now. So that's, say, for example, say you've got 200-300 members at each gym. So it's $600 to $900 per week going into a kitty. Over a year, there's like nearly $52,000, bro.
Yeah.
And that's with 3 studios. Now, we've trademarked our brand to go overseas. So we've made it so people can't copy us in other countries. We've got big fucking plans, bro. I didn't come into this, and like everything, I didn't come into this to open up a gym and fucking that was it. Yeah. We came here to fucking open up as many gyms as possible, raise as much money as we can. And then I've got a whole new plan for what happens with all that stuff. So each year we donate to the kids, but I want to get to a point where we've got a big kitty there where we can open something up.
That's sick.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it can help. Like, I really want to focus in on, and it's a big topic at the moment, and everyone can relate with these young kids stealing cars and that.
Yeah.
I want to get them doing something. Like, whether it's training, whether it's getting, what we're doing as well, we're working on a mentorship program where they come in, we pay for the whole PT course, Cert 3, Cert 4. We train them up in our gym, giving them work experience. We pay for all of their study, and we supply them with everything that they need, and they don't have to do anything but just show up.
Yep.
So we're looking for candidates at the moment, and we're going through like where you do your PT course. What are they called?
RTOs.
Yeah, well, I don't know why.
Providers.
Yeah, the providers. Yeah, exactly. So we're going to them and we're saying, have you got any kids that are in this sort of situation that need this? Or now we're also reaching out to people that, like the Smith Foundation, saying, hey, any troubled kids that need direction, they need help. We want to grab one for now. We want to take them here, do this. But they've got to have some want. They can't just be like, fuck this, fuck that. They've got to actually want to have some change. Yeah, because you can't change someone unless they want to change.
Of course.
So that's what we're doing at the moment. But imagine, this is just the start. We've been open for 2.5 years. We've got 3 studios open now. We've got Bundle, Helensvale, Cairns. But imagine when we grow bigger and we're changing a couple of lives here and there outside of the gym. Inside the gym, we're changing everyone's lives as much as possible. But the amount of...
The ripple effect.
Oh, bro, it's going to be huge. So
I love that.
That's what excites me. Don't get me wrong. Not trying to sound like cliche, dude. I'm here to make money as well. I want to make money and support my family, but I've got a bigger goal than that. Or an equal goal, you could say, because I don't want to sound like that guy that's like, I'm only here to fucking do it for everyone else. Like, I'm here to make money. Let's be real. I want to make money. I want to live comfortably.
You got to look after number one first, bro.
Definitely, because if you don't look after yourself, you can't look after anybody else.
Of course.
So I'm here to make money, but I'm here to fucking change some lives, bro. And I want to start with the youth, because the youth is our future.
I agree.
We've got we can go into depth for this for fucking an hour of talking what we want to do with it. But at the moment, we're changing a couple of lives. But as we grow and we get more money, man, every dollar from every membership, every week, every year adds up. And man, we're going to do some big things with it. So that's the future for that. Obviously, I've got a few things going on the side. I've got like a side hustle as well. I do like clothing company. I'm starting my own brand. Like I started one a while back, like I told you about, but I'm relaunching that and it's looking better than ever. Also doing my caring work so I can start getting hopefully into the boys' homes and start working with them and that. So got a few things on the go, but the future, man, is most of it's focused on the brand that we've spent so much time and money on, and evolving that, and then changing as many lives as possible, bro. And then living a good life for myself and my family is a big thing too. And hopefully being able to support my parents when my journey goes to the top, you know what I mean? That would be awesome to return the favor for them for the things they've done for me. You know what I mean? So that's what the future holds, bro. And that's all I need. I don't need to be a multi-millionaire or anything. I'm striving for it. I don't need to be it.
Yeah, it'd be nice,
but I would like it. Yeah. It'd be cool, you know what I mean? Yeah. And especially having a late start and being through the shit I've been through, all myself. I did it all myself. But to be able to come back when you're down, you know, it's half time and we're down, 70 points. That's what life's like for us when we start late. So we're playing catch up. So, man, it would be nice to do that. And then also just show my son, and if I have more kids, how the fuck it's done, you know what I mean? Like, not to do it my way, but that's how I did it. And you can still turn it around. So imagine where they can go if they don't have that shitty start. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but I'll support them either way. If they ever dig into any small bits of trouble, I support them. I've been through that. I'm no hypocrite, but I want them to see what I've done and lead by example. So the future for me, bro, I don't know where the ceiling is. I don't know how high I reach, but I'm fucking just going to the top, bro, as much as possible. Yeah, man. So, and just trying to motivate people around me as well. Yeah.
Well, man, thank you so much for coming on. Something that you said before that really aligned with me, and I didn't realize how in alignment we were, but bro, at the moment you just changed the life of a few people, but the ripple effect will change the life of so many. And that's what the INTOCHANGE podcast and the INTOCHANGE brand is all about. We cannot change the world alone, but together, if we can change the life of just one person, the ripple effect will allow us to change the life of many. So
Fuck yeah.
Man.
Hopefully we get some listeners on this podcast, man. And hey,
Bro.
if we change one life, that's awesome. But I'd like to do more.
Of course, brother.
And what you're doing is good, bro. And just want to do a shout out to you, bro. Thanks for bringing me on here. And also, well done, because the way you conduct yourself in a podcast is pretty high level for someone that's just started off. It's pretty high level in general.
Bro, honestly, that means the world to me, bro.
Yeah, well done, bro. You've done well. And that's why I was happy to come on here and share my story with you, bro, because you've done the same thing as me, but also you conduct yourself well. That's why I did my research on you.
Yep.
Listen to the way you're conducting your podcast, bro, and you're killing it, and you're in the early days, bro, so the sky's the limit for this shit too, man. So well
brother.
done.
I'll see you
and
at
it's
the
a
top,
piece of
my
the
man.
puzzle. See you at the top, brother.
See you at the top, my
Good
man.
shit, man. Thanks for having me.
Oh!
Appreciate it.